Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We are back, we are live, and it is time to get your freak on. That's right, everybody. Freaky Friday is live today, right now. And boy, oh boy, have we got a good one for you because we are going full Bates Motel. Yes, we're going psycho, Scotty. We've gone psycho this week. That's what we've done, dude. How you doing, man?
I'm doing excellent. It's been such a long time, once again, Kev, since we've last spoken to each other.
Yeah, when was it again, Scott? I mean, it feels like a couple of months ago now. Time flies so fast, you know?
Yeah, it feels like a couple of months, but it was more like a couple hours.
Yeah, more like a couple hours because we hooked up today for the Black Pill, the safe space stream on the Friday, and yes, we were black pilling people, or at least we were kind of letting people know that it's not just a blue pill. It's not just the red pill, and there's many pitfalls along the way. One of which can be the black pill. And talking of the black pill, we were speaking about our good friend Joe Joseph, and he's here now to defend himself. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm gonna try and switch over to the other microphone. So
hold your ears, folks. Hold your ears, folks. It could go horribly wrong here.
If it doesn't go right, then we'll change it back. But
okay.
I want to see if it'll do what it's supposed to. How was that?
Oh, nice.
It's
okay.
Good?
Yes, it's good.
Yes, it's good.
Okay. How about now?
It's
it better?
It's still good.
Life is good, guys. Life is good.
Yes. A little bit of volume, maybe, Joe? Tentatively do it, sir.
Tentatively, yes.
How about a little bit of that?
A little bit down. Look at this.
Down, just
do
down.
It. There we go.
Is that good?
Yeah. See, if we were like professional and things, Joe might have switched that on before the show, so we could have done that off air. But that's not how we roll on here, Joe.
Well, everything here is quite organic.
Now you're starting to buzz again a little bit, but hey.
Am I?
What's a little bit of electronic buzzing between friends?
That's right. That's right. Let's go with it, shall we?
Let's go with it, dude. Let's go with it. And it's going to get freaky because, like I was saying, Bates Motel, or should we say Freaky Friday Motel. And why are we even calling it that? Are we just going to talk about that Hitchcock movie and the recent TV show where we had the young Norman? No, we don't roll like that. And every night when I get off my show, the Kev Baker Show here on TFR, what I do is I quickly type up the show and then I head to Facebook Messenger where the first person I talk to after the show physically is my mum. Yes, 43 years old and still hanging on to the mother's apron kind of strings. Scotty Lopez, your mum, big fan of what the shows that we do here as well. So we thought, well, in true Norman nature, right? Mother, Norman, we thought we'll get our mums involved. You know, before we have to dress up creepily and pretend we're our mums, we thought we'll cut out that middleman, the Grim Reaper, and we'll get them to bring the woo to us. You know, so we'll make it something completely different. Joe's loving it, look.
I am. I'm totally digging this, man.
Yes, the woo, the deep woo. So before we get anywhere, Scotty, you know, tell us, I mean, this is the Norman special. I mean, we've got to bring our mums into the picture, right?
Yes, my mom is is quite a fan of Freaky Friday. She always has been. And she's quite into the woo. She's always been into the woo.
That's an understatement. Your mum is steeped in the woo.
Yes, you know what? I dare say that is where my love of the woo has come from. Is from my mom, and you know, I remember way back in the day when I was a young one. She was watching the X-Files religiously. When, you know, waiting for new episodes to come out and always watching those. Remember those like 90s UFO documentaries that came out back in the day that were just, it was just really good stuff.
And let's go back further, right? I bet your mum was a big fan of like the horror movies and things in the 80s, Twilight Zone, you know, all these kind of creepy shows as well.
She still watches the Twilight Zone all the time. You know, whenever it's on.
Is that right? You're talking about the black and white. She likes that.
Joe, try and move your mic away a little bit. That's what to do.
Is that what I'm doing?
It's not helping, but that does help when you move away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Okay.
Big time, dude. Yep.
All right.
So you have to pretend you're the co-pilot tonight. You're sitting back behind me, firing off the missiles. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
See, now you're leaning forward into it again. See, you see. Look at him.
But when I do this, is that bad?
No.
Oh, that's good.
That's all right now.
Okay. It's weird. My gain is going all over the place. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
I think you've got Ooga Boogas on the line, Joe.
Maybe.
I think you do. Well, you know, we're going to... What we do on Freaky Friday, it is tradition. It is... You can't start a Freaky Friday any other way than going to the original Wookiee Cave. So we go all the way to tfrlive.com, and I am in there now, and it is filling up nicely. Absolutely nicely. And of course, we've got 2 chat rooms today, because we've got TFR and we have YouTube. So first up, and I'll do the YouTube one in a bit, but the first and foremost, the home of Freaky Friday, the Wookiee Cave, we have got the one and only, you guessed it, the Wookiee. I'm in there. Silamo is in there. We've got Cold Brews, Polly, Bam, Bill 13, not unlucky for some, sir. No, you're not unlucky. We've got Delete the Elite. If only it was that easy. If we could just press that button, delete those pesky elites, that'd be awesome. Intelligent Local, I like that. Brave Mind, that's what you need in these times of insanity, right? A Friendly Chatter, dang, we need more of those. And last but not least, Jolly Self. So yes, we've got a lot of people filing into the Wookiee Cave. And then over on YouTube, we've got Polly, Brett, Brian, Connie, DJ, 2 DJs in there. Ellie or Eli or Eli, Google Blows, Guy, Lady Blabla, Laird Scott, Rob, Scowling Wolf, Sekhmet, I like that one, Star, Tiffany, Tommy, so many people to go through. We would be here all day, guys. And like we say, we're going full woo tonight, and we're letting our mums steer the course of the show. So to kick things off, guys,
Where are we going?
We're going to go to Scotland. I got a couple of links from my mum. She sent some stuff through. She was panicking the other night after I went over the haunted roads and bridges in Scotland. She's like, you're leaving me nothing left to find. But she dug. You know, I wouldn't be my mother's son if she couldn't do a bit of digging for woo, right? So this website here, and we're coming to, let me see now. Yes, it's called Visit Scotland, and it's Ghosts, Myths and Legends, Tales on Tape. Now, these aren't long. They're only
from the Chamber of Commerce or something like that, you know? Come visit Scotland, where you can come and see ghosts.
You know, Joe, you know, what was I saying before the show, though? I am becoming more aware of what has been around me all the time. And I am in a paranormal melting pot. I truly am.
You really are.
And we've spoke about Roslyn before on the show, Roslyn Chapel, things like that. But the first little clip I'm going to play today is about the ghost of Roslyn Castle. Oh, yes, and when you hear this, it's so atmospheric. It's literally a cassette recording. Check this out, folks.
Awesome.
Good
The
word.
roots of this story might date back over 700 years, but it's said the blood-curdling sounds can sometimes still be heard to this day from the nearby woods where our soldiers once walked. Never come between a man and his dog if this tale is anything to go by. At the Battle of Roslyn in 1303, an English knight, accompanied by his faithful hound dog, was fighting when he was slain by a Scotsman. Desperately sad at the death of his much-loved owner, the hound attacked the Scottish soldier, but he too was killed on the battlefield by that same soldier. However, victory was not won by the Scotsman. After his death, the dog reappeared again in the guardroom of Roslyn Castle, terrifying the soldiers who were garrisoned there. He would appear often until one day a terrifying scream echoed out across Roslin. The faithful dog had found his executor. The Scottish soldier was so terrified, having laid eyes on the hound's apparition, that 3 days later he died. The hound is said not to have appeared again. Satisfied he had avenged his master's and his own death.
That's what I'm talking about. You're talking like a hellhound to kick off the show, boys.
Nothing like a hellhound to make your Friday night feel all right.
And that ties in with what we were talking about earlier on the show, because we were talking about the Wolvern of Scotland. And Joe, this is like our version of the Dog Man. It's like meant to be what was it, Scotty? Like 2 meters tall, walks on 2 feet. It looks like a human, but then it's got like a wolf's head.
He literally looks like the guy from Altered Beast, Joe.
Wow. Really, dude?
Now you've gone away, Joe. Now we can't hear you.
Like
when that came out in the arcades, I just remember spending hours and hours at that stupid game. Loved it. It was such a breakthrough with graphics, too. But you're right. That Wolfman, man, if you saw that in real life, it'd probably freak you the hell out.
Just a little bit. If that walked across in front of your car, or the story we heard about today, it was one fishing at the river. And I'm thinking, you're just bimbling along.
Just
yeah,
there, probably had his hat on.
Yeah,
right,
me and you and
hook
Scotty
hat.
boy were just kind of bimbling down on a boat or something, and we're having a big fat reefer, big fatty blowing away. We see somebody fishing upstream, just at the curve of the stream, and we think, oh, look at this gentleman here casting out his line, only for him to turn round and look like something out of bloody Teen Wolf.
Yeah, then I even brought up a Dogman sighting right here by where I live. You know, Lawrence, right by Lawrence, Kansas, which is not very far from me. So crazy stuff, man.
Very crazy indeed. And these ghost stories, we're gonna have little random Scottish ghost stories splattered throughout. So that's thanks to old Mother Dearest up in Inverness. We've also got a story about a weird cave up near Inverness as well. That's really weird. But
I love how you have the 2-minute tales on tape.
It's cool, isn't it?
It is. It just gives so many different like nuggets of lore to go through and discuss.
That's exactly what they are, Joe. Exactly. And one that Scott's mum pulled out, and this is very relevant to Freaky Friday. Wait till I pull this up here now. And this is about frightening forests.
This is crazy.
Yeah, this is going to get really weird, really woo, really fast. They say when you go down to the woods today, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Five frightening forests you should never visit.
Hold on, folks.
Large trees, fresh air, and solitude. Forests are fantastic for a quick getaway from the stress of city living. But there are certain forests that you should be wary of, and the 5 woodlands on this list have gained a reputation for being sinister, dark, and even deadly. These are 5 frightening forests you should never visit. Number 5, Devil's Tramping Ground. Over 120 years before America gained its independence, locals have whispered that inside the pine woods of Chatham County in North Carolina lies a 15-foot wide circle where no life has ever grown. They call it the Devil's Tramping Ground.
Turn my volume up. And we've even got a follow-up after this one, this Devil's Tramping Ground, because when Scott seen it, it brought somewhere else into his mind. And what is it about woods, folks? We've spoke about them so often here on the show, it must be ad nauseum. You must think to yourself, oh, not again, guys, not more forests. But there is something magical and something sometimes a little dark about the forests.
Year after year, no plant life grows within the circle. Despite being surrounded by the woods, no trees, no flowers, no anything grows here, and locals say even when plants are transplanted within, they just wilt and die. Animals also seem to sense something sinister is afoot. Dogs tuck their tails between their legs as they approach. They howl and yelp as if some mysterious force is bearing down on them. Even stranger, local folks say any item placed within the circle no matter how big or small, mysteriously gets flung outside of its bounds by dawn. Men who thought themselves brave by spending the night camping in the circle claim to have seen or heard things during their night vigil that they can't speak of. Boy Scouts who have mistakenly pitched their tent inside the circle wake up the next day to find their tents far away from where they placed them. At least 2 men have tried to stay awake all night while within the circle, but both say they were lulled to sleep by a soft voice and melody. When they woke the next day, they also found themselves now outside of the circle. So what makes this place so mysterious? Legend has it that the devil himself walks here at night. Inside the silent dark forest, he rises and paces around in a circle, scorching the earth beneath him with his hooves. His thoughts focused on the malice and havoc that he wants to wreak upon humans. The mystery of the devil's tramping ground has gone on for over a century. Generation after generation, the story is passed down. Scientists have been consulted and asked why only this particular area remains barren, but even they have no answer. The area today is popular among paranormal researchers. For the locals of Chatham, they know of the legend, and most stay far away from the circle. Of course, teenagers love to hang out there. It's unclear whether they have any stories to tell of their own, and if they have seen or felt the devil also drive them away from his sacred place. Number 4.
There we go. Now,
Definitely a place of high energy. There's no doubt, you know. It's
wasn't it
almost
interesting,
akin to-
Joe, how that article at the end there actually referenced the Vortex?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what it reminds me of, guys? Honestly, it reminds me of a place like where Cecil Rhodes got buried. You know, like he specifically picked that place, and he picked it for a reason. You know, where all those lines intersect one another, and it's just like this really hot spot for, you know, that kind of activity. I mean, here he is. He's a Brit, right? And he gets buried in Africa. You know, why? So this kind of reminds me of that, you know, just an area where you've just got unbelievable activity, almost dimensional portal or Stargate-esque.
And Scott, I've pulled up something here. This is called the Mowing Devil. Now, this is meant to be tying in with ancient crop circles, but when I looked at that video that we just played there, it feels almost like this could have something to do with what the devil's kind of circle we've just been referencing. Yeah.
Yeah, this is very similar, you know, in its representation, and you know, maybe it's these areas where, I don't know, demonic entities or something manifest from, and like Joe said, it's an area of high energy. There's something going on there, and another thing this reminded me of was the Bakchu forest in Romania, I believe.
Really?
It's the exact same thing. In the Bakchu forest, there's an area, there's an opening, a circle where nothing grows, and there's all kinds of anomalies that occur.
Think about that. Nothing grows there. There has to be like a magnetic or energy component there that's causing that to happen. You know, it's not ooga booga, but it has to be like something in that environment is causing things not to grow.
Yeah, type in like Bakchu circle or something, Kevin. You'll see it.
Yeah.
It's just a barren.
That was actually
Look at
from
the trees.
greenhouse gases from one of his older chairs
Look
when
at
he was
those
on
trees.
expedition.
What's that all about?
Wow. Okay, so you know what's going on with those trees there? That suggests to me that something
There's
catastrophic
an energy there, isn't it?
Well, something catastrophic happened in that forest and blew all the trees down, but they didn't die, and so they grew sideways.
Yeah, they snapped and then grew and then start. Like when you do hypothetically to a marijuana plant and you top it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the same shape
So-
as well. Yep.
You wonder what happened in that forest to cause that. Was there a?
Good Lord.
There's the circle. There is the circle.
That's
Kev.
what you call a circle.
Yeah.
That's a circle and a half, dude. Look at that. It's huge.
No trees growing there. I mean, I guess there's some grass, but nothing. There's absolutely.
So
And
it's
anybody
not groomed at all. It's just
Oh,
that's the
that's
way
just-
it is.
Where is this, Scott? What country is this?
This is in Romania, just
That's
out in the
Romania.
middle. Yeah, that is like just just out in the middle of nowhere in the dense forest of Romania. Boom, you just have this
Wow.
circle. And
Nothing goes-
yeah, nothing
That
grows
makes
there.
sense.
And
Yeah, that's blatantly
Yeah.
the same place.
It looks totally like the same place.
Yeah.
see, so we're talking about these areas that and it's the exact same thing, Kev. That happens. It's like people go in there, they
Yeah.
start feeling sick. I know Josh Gates did an investigation there from Destination Truth,
Yeah.
and everybody started feeling ill. They started like,
See,
that
says
See,
that
a lot of these are trying to put this down to
something's different
Tunguska,
there,
but that doesn't look like a crater. That doesn't look like some meteor
not a
impact.
crater.
No.
It's not. But something is preventing things from growing there.
Yeah.
A la like I said, some sort of difference in the magnetic properties of that area, or a heightened energy level of some sort. Even, I would take a Geiger counter there and look for gamma. Maybe there's some sort of high radiation coming from there too.
they were having all kinds of anomalies and problems with their equipment, with their cameras and just weird stuff. And then, so they were doing kind of a session out there. They were sitting out there trying to, I don't know if they were trying to do like EVP session or something like that, but
Is that right?
the cameraman on Josh Gates' team, he was thrown. He was caught on camera too. He was thrown, literally lifted off the ground and thrown back. And it was at that point they all were like, "F this, we're out of here. We're gone."
Yeah.
This is, they were already like on edge and very anxious, and just
now,
the way that was.
that happened to Kev at Crowley's house. There he is at Crowley's house. Everybody's like, ha ha ha, Crowley's house, la 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 la. And then all of a sudden, pooh, out of nowhere, things start to happen. And it's very much like that. People go into that not understanding dark energy and what it does and how much power it has. And the fact is, once they get acquainted with you there, that door is now open for you, and you will be absolutely tormented by these spirits from there on out. It's awful.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, I thought I would bring up the Bokchu Forest thing, because that is like pretty much dead on exactly what was going on in this forest.
Man.
Yeah, and there's probably multiple places like this around the planet. We're just talking about these places of high energy or vortexes, something.
That's what ends up happening. That's what ends up happening is they attach to you, and then they attach to you at these places, right? So, yeah, it's a place where there's high energy and things like that, but it's also a gateway, and these things they latch onto you, and next thing you know, you got a buddy for the rest of your life. You're tagging along this baggage that just won't go away, and you're constantly having to push it off. And
I was looking for a thing there, and I'll need to message my mum during the break. But there's a place in Scotland where there was a priest or a monk or something like that, and he said hundreds of years ago, the grass will never grow again where I stand. And to this day, guess what? Spoiler, no grass is growing.
Oh, say it ain't so.
Yeah, that's quite weird, but I'll need to find out where it is during the break. I thought it would come up there, but it didn't come up. But yeah, so we've just just scraped the surface. Yeah. We've not even made it up to the first floor of the Psycho building yet. Mums are in the attic. They're rocking back and forth.
Here's the other thing, too, about these things, dude. The other things about these these entities are. They love children.
Oh,
Love
dude.
them, and love the energy that they give off, and that innocence and that essence that they have. They love to scare children because that, my friends, is the apex. That is the manna for them that they just love. They feed off it. That makes you feel helpless, really, in so many ways when you have to face these damn things, and you face them all the time, whether you see them or not. Whether you see them or not. That's the crazy
thing. They are all around us right
all the
now,
time.
everywhere.
All the time.
You know, if you see something out the corner of your eye when we go to the break here, ask yourself, was it just a natural movement, or was it one of the Ooga Boogas? Oh, I'm bad. I'm real bad, but we'll be back after the break. You ain't seen nothing yet. You better get your freak ready, because we are going to get it on after these short messages. If I can find the box. Yes, we found the box, and we are still live.
We are still live.
Still simulcasting. Yes, indeed.
It's funny here, Kev. They really latched on to my daughters. They really like to mess with my daughters, and there was that instance with the Divic box with Adriana, and she's been subject to a lot of that, hearing the voices, and it's gotten so crazy over the last, I don't know, decade or so, that Ange and I are actually debating, against our better judgment too, of putting cameras up all over the place just so we can catch these damn things. You know what I mean? Just so we can get something. Start trying to document this, because it is increasing. When I say it's increasing, I'm not saying it because there's like news stories. I get the news story thing. I'm saying that it's like picking up in intensity, not just by what I'm experiencing here personally, my family, but I'm watching all of you go through hell on earth too, and then the time anomalies, like what was our friend from the software company that came on and talked about the Mandela effect?
Chris Anatra.
Yes, Chris Sinatra. Guys like that. Look at what's happening. And just time slip. All of these things that are happening for a reason. And
yeah, my brother's seeing shadow people.
Shadow people, yeah.
And we've got an update on the shadow people when we come back, don't we?
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Scott
there's
muted
just so
himself
much.
up there, I think.
Joe, there's been an update from Shadow Dude's house.
Oh, that's excellent. I love updates from, what is it, Maine? That's right.
Yeah, my mom sent me a little something. She's like, "Hey, they've done some more updates, and I think he let somebody in, some YouTuber, paranormal investigator guy."
Oh, somebody made it there, huh? Cool.
Yeah. He opens up the house to anybody who wants to investigate.
Oh, I know.
It's for anybody. So
he seems to be a very nice guy.
So that in itself kind of makes him seem more legit to me.
Yeah, if you're willing to have other people come in, Scott, absolutely, absolutely. If you've wired up the house to make it into some kind of carnival show and it's just all smoke and mirrors and people at it, why would you invite investigations in? That's
yeah.
No, that as a whole. Not that I wasn't convinced anyway. By the way, there was something genuine to that gut feeling again. He came across as a real dude that's living this.
Oh, he's real.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about it. As a matter
about-
of fact, Ange and I are thinking about doing the same thing.
Well,
going
we're
up
about
there
to go
and-
back
and-
to the mothership, boys. So everyone out there need to be quiet. We're going to sneak back in to the home of Freaky Friday. We're getting ready. I'm watching the time. I'm watching the clock, Scott. Have you got the Wookiee lined up? We should really have had a ghost for tonight. Really.
I don't have them lined up, so I'll get them lined up for the next break.
Joe can do it. Joe's got a good one going there. He's getting his freaky on right now, man. He's got the Wookiee warmed up. Here we go. 3, 2. Do 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 do. Come on, Joe, get your Wookiee on, man. Yes, there we are. We're back. We're live. Joe Joseph as the Wookiee. Scott Lopez has given the Wookiee a break. He gets a bit kind of anxious when we talk about these types of topics. I've noticed, Scott.
The Wookiee, he's one of those. He doesn't. He's scared of the woo. It disturbs him. He's very squeamish.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's
don't do Wookiees well.
Yeah, after that little incident on
I blame the Ewok. I blame the Ewok.
After his little incident on Endor, he's a little shell shocked and
a little apprehensive, I'm sure.
Well, they say that at one point the Wookiee came to Scotland, and he arrived not far from where I was brought up in Fort Augustus. He arrived in a place called Glen Morrison, and he stood in Glen Morrison and he said, "Where I stand here today as the Wookiee, the grass shall never grow again." Now, the story didn't quite go like that. It maybe wasn't a Wookiee. It was something a lot scarier. It was one of those, like, creeps dressed up in a black frock. You know the ones. They hang about chapels and things. Priests, that's them. Well, one of them stood in Glen Morrison, like I was saying. And it says here, not far east of Torgoyle Bridge in Glen Morrison are the Glen Morrison footprints. Now, the bridge head towards Invermorrison, and about a quarter of a mile beyond a cluster of houses on the right is a short stone wall on the right where the verge widens enough to park a car. Now, opposite this is a small gate and a path leading in about 30 yards to a stone cairn. This is pretty cool. It gives you descriptions on how to get there. Immediately behind this are two footprints. Bare patches of earth about the size of, guess what? Footprints. They are said to be the footprints of Finlay Munro. What a good Scottish name that is. Otherwise known as the Highland Evangelist, a native of Tain. We could do a show on Tain. You talk about characters, boys. Tain's full of them. After a productive ministry on the Isle of Lewis, he made a tour of the Southern Highlands, during which he preached in Glen Morrison in 1827. His sermon on the text, "Prepare to meet thy God, O Israel," Amos 4:12, was generally well received, but some Catholics from Glengarry, I played shinty for them, by the way, long story, heckled him, calling him a cheat and a liar. So Munro is supposed to have closed his Bible, snapped it shut, and he retorted that the ground on which he stood would bear witness to the truth of what he said until the day of judgment comes. I wish we had like thunder and lightning going off in the background there. Thus, the marks on the ground are said to be his footprints where nothing will grow. So unless he had like some Fukushima footwear on, I don't think there was any radioactive kind of reason going on for this.
Checkmate, Catholics.
Big time.
That is so ridiculous. See, Catholics just underestimate the power of Electro Evangelism.
Exactly, dude. Do you think when he was going about the Great Glen up and down the loch, do you think he was asking people for donations to buy him a jet?
Or selling snake oil, perhaps.
Possibly scaring people to death with a monster in one hand and offering them the good book, and for the price of a donation, of course, in the other hand.
Well, I mean, the Catholics, on the other hand, sell indulgences. So, I mean, it's,
It's all the same, right?
Just different shtick. That's
exactly,
all.
Exactly.
The Catholics sold sin, and the evangelists sold sin, but they just sold it in different flavors.
So,
that's
Joe,
all.
can you think of any other miracle-type things off the top of your head that might go along to kind of confirm the good book, like your man, the priest here? Anything jump to mind?
Oh, you mean like things that would say prove Bible? See, that's the thing. The Bible.
Well, yeah, even that.
But the Bible's full of that, though, right?
I remember. Wait a minute. I remember, Scott. I remember. Joe Joseph is the ultimate black-pilled. Joe, Joe,
Yes,
take it away. Take it away, dude.
What exactly is black pill?
Well, talk to us about this Bible prophecy of yours. Talk to us about what happened. Tell us the story you were going to tell us.
I'm just trying. It's full of it. I'm trying to think of like one that kind of stands out. That was kind of interesting to me when I was kind of looking for this kind of stuff, and I'd say the Book of Daniel. The Book of Daniel is like, out of all the books in the Bible, is probably one of my favorite.
Is that
Only
another one that
because
explains the times that we live now, Joe?
Yeah, to some extent, but specifically, it's his dealings with Nebuchadnezzar, King Nebuchadnezzar, and then following that, Belshazzar, and then when
Belshazzar sounds like an extra from the Jungle Book.
Right? Babylon fell. He predicted Cyrus and Darius by name 150 years before they were born.
Well, that's pretty good going.
Yeah.
And I need to ask you, right? I need to ask you, like the dude says here about his footprints until Judgment Day. Are we getting close, Joe? Are we close to the Judgment Day?
I have no idea, dude.
Damn. I was hoping you'd black pill us there, dude, and go, the end is nigh, man.
If I was to guess, right? If I was to, this is my swag on it. The Bible says that God has to intervene, otherwise no flesh would survive. It's going to be that bad. So if it's going to be that bad, what would make that happen? Now, everybody typically goes, the end is, we going to get nuked. It's going to be radiation. Genetic manipulation. Starvation. You name it. It's got to end in TION.
It sounds like you were rapping the apocalypse there, by the way, dude.
You know, but that's kind of how it goes, right? But why are we looking that way? Because it never happens where you're going, and that's where the AI to me comes in, because AI is going to say, "Fish, no bueno." If you want capabilities, because remember, once we get this general intelligence licked, you're going to start having advancement moving along exponentially, you know? So how do you get to immortality? How do you get to complete eidetic memory? How do you get to having complete control over your environment, or becoming like a god? Yes. How do you do it? Very simple. You do what the AI tells you. What's the AI telling you? Well, I'm going to solve all your problems. This is how you engineer that. And how does it manifest? I have no idea, dude. No idea. But I have to imagine that the flesh suit is going to be deemed obsolete. You know, and when that happens, then what? No flesh would survive. That's just the way I kind of see it. I don't know if it's going to go that way.
And that's Joe. And that, Joe, is why we were saying that perhaps you were stereotypically the black pill of a sort. Because, Scott, one variant of the black pill is the apocalypse. We're all pretty doomed. Anything we do now, we're going to be doomed anyway. And we think, Joe...
we're totally screwed.
We love it. See, there it is, dude. Build us an app.
We're totally screwed. Humanity is doomed. Why? Because we haven't done much right. Let's put it that way.
Scott, you loving it. He's like that. This is like a self-fulfilling prophecy, Scott. And I tell you what, folks, we're doing the Bates Motel here. Me and Scotty, we've got mummy complexes, so we've got like links from our creators, no less, Scott. And my mum just keeps on filling up my box here, dude. That sounds a bit more rude than it should sound, but it just keeps on coming. Who knew?
Today I was getting incoming woo from my mom, and I'm like, I think we're good, Mom. I think we have plenty of material, but at least I know.
Hey, the brain wanted just to chime in real quick and say that, as AI creates these things, these variants, if you will, human 2.0, etc., etc., and you like genetically modify and make your cons, and my genetically engineered intellect, from hell's heart I stab at thee. That
See,
kind of guy.
I've got an opposing theory about the AI, and it goes the other way because
Well, hold on, no, because it could go that way too. It could go your way too. But basically,
but
it goes
it's not
like,
nihilistic enough, Kev.
if
Keep your-
it's not created by God, does it have a soul? And the answer is no. So we're creating these empty vessels for what to inhabit? That's the question. It becomes a tool of darkness. And that is black. That is black goo.
Oh, the black goo leads to the black pill, leads you to Joe Joseph, ladies and gentlemen. Catch the Freedom Link every Tuesday and Thursday where you can get
thank you very
you can
much.
get your black pill dosage. But
Get your black goo.
I am, and I was sharing this kind of working
Pastor
idea,
Bagley.
not even a
Okay.
hypothesis, nowhere near a theory, a working idea in the neurons of Kev's mind. And it was that we really have, we've come so far, and we're creating the AI, we're creating the robots with the intelligence that comes from our own intelligent design, right? And at this point, once you start to recognize and be able to manipulate and take advantage of quantum mechanics, i.e. the quantum computers, the qubits, things like that.
You create a black hole and it sucks us all in.
Well, I think we peak out at biological intelligence, but I don't think that's the full kind of picture. So our creation, the things that are in our image, dare I say it, that AI, that will then take over the computing power, the processing, that will open up all the kind of the black holes, that will give us the secrets of this simulation, creation, universe. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. And I often think if it was so evil, we would get to a point and maybe AI labs around the world, there would be lightning bolts striking them and things like that. That isn't happening. And then I look at some of the other dark stuff around the world, and there's no lightning bolts coming down for that yet either. So I don't think we're as close as we think, Joe.
Where is your pessimism, Mr. Bake?
I packed my pessimism away, dude. There's enough of that on the internet, man. I've got like a rainbow-colored
I guess
sugar-coated
what
pill.
I'm saying is the old adage is, and it holds true even today, one bad egg spoils the dozen. It doesn't take but one bad egg to ruin it for everybody. That's all I'm saying. And the odds are against us that there aren't any bad eggs out there that aren't going to take advantage of the situation and wreak harm and havoc. They do it inevitably and always because humans are greedy bastards who want to control you because they, my friend, knows what everybody knows what's best for everybody else. So you're telling me there's not one evil person out there that's going to go and take advantage of it? Come on, Kev. It's a pie in the sky. You want your utopia? You can have it. Jack in. Just jack in.
Jack in and drop out.
That's it.
Here we go. We'll put that above
Take it.
Joe. We'll put his black pills loading, Scott. Look. He's got his black pill on there now.
Oh, nice.
We're happy.
Very nice, by the way. I like that.
You like that, Joe? You like that? No. Again, I just try and look at the positive, dude, because if we go about worrying about what you're saying there and what others are saying, again, we're like little intention multipliers, generators.
I know. I can't wait.
antennas.
I want to finally. That's it. Finally.
You want the fire and brimstone, dude?
Finally.
Oh, well,
Done.
before we get the fire and brimstone, will we dip our toe back into the creepy forest, Scott?
Oh.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
We only did one of five.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
and we've got
exciting.
we've got the wee Scottish stories. This is good. This is all good. I hope everyone's enjoying this.
Oh, and plus we've got Shadow Dude update.
Shadow dudes. And if we don't get to some of it tonight, we're doing it all again tomorrow. So, it's all good. Here we go.
4. Man finds missing person shrine. James Rankin was on a leisurely hike in
Nice
October
hair.
of 2016, exploring Huntington's Berkeley Jackson County Park in New York.
Can we just see that gentleman again? Isn't that the haircut of an internet genius?
Now, that's somebody that I would say is going out to explore.
If you met him in the forest, I don't know. I think I'm on my hoofs and I'm out of there, dude.
Me too.
Can I just say, possibly, he looks like the kind of fellow that might pick up a mushroom that he finds in the forest.
Well, okay, we'll go with that.
And I might just add this haircut. Since the ADL are adding the bowl cut to the kind of terrorist haircuts, can we add this haircut to Kev's dating tips?
Mohawk.
No,
the
you see, I'm
Mohawk.
the safe space. I try to give out dating advice for the modern day Joe. I try to keep the girls and the guys out there that are playing the dating game in this crazy world of the internet. I try to give them pointers, with that lack of physical contact, may come danger. Because when you wander out into the real world, you go to a bar, you might meet somebody with a haircut like this.
Right.
He might woo you, he might swoon you, he might try and offer you a lift home. Namely, or mostly, if it's a guy with a haircut like this girl's, probably best to move on to another gentleman at the bar. I'm just saying, he's got the perfect face for a mugshot.
Let's cut him a little slack, though, because he may be the hero of this story.
He may
Very
be.
much so.
He may be. Oh, dear. See if I feel bad by the end of this now.
Hike in October of 2016, exploring Huntington's Berkeley Jackson County Park in New York, when he came across a terrifying sight. He was walking along when something posted on the trees caught his attention. He took a closer look, and to his surprise, there were pieces of printed paper.
Whoa!
Somebody
does
was
that
looking,
say
looking for
Osmond?
Tim Osmond.
No way.
Right,
That's Tim Osmond.
right now, hang on. Right, that's Tim Osmond. People,
Yeah,
there might
it
be
is.
some people out there thinking, "What the hell's Tim Osmond got to do with anything?" Folks, go and Google Tim Osmond and find out who he was.
Oh
What-
my lord.
Yeah, he happened to be a famous dude that lived in a cave. So we were
He
told.
did?
Yeah.
What a weird twist to this
Wow.
Who
story.
knew? Who knew, man? Who knew? Poor Tim. He gets the blame for everything, right? The
Boy, I tell
perfect
you,
patsy.
he is the fall guy.
He truly is. He's the forest guy.
Paper placed inside a plastic file sleeve. They had been posted on individual trees around a portion of the forest. Rankin looked closely at each one and realized they were missing persons posters. It was already a bizarre sight, but what terrified him more was when he realized every one of the posters were of real people. Suffice it to say, the find unnerved him. He decided to take out his smartphone and began recording the scene. He posted it on Facebook, and soon the video went viral, racking more than 1 million views since it was posted. Rankin showcased all the missing posters on the trees, about 25 in total, and wondered what kind of human being would do such a thing in the middle of the woods. It was as if the area was made to look like a shrine to all those missing people. He ends the video by running for his life because he said he heard voices nearby. You might think this was a hoax, one even perpetrated by Rankin himself, but once he made it out of the woods, he immediately contacted police and showed them the video. Authorities investigated the area, and after 2 days, they had closed the case because they found out who had placed the posters. According to them, a property owner in the area had put up the posters as part of a Halloween party decoration. Despite the possible explanation, Rankin isn't convinced by it.
Like I was saying, girls, you don't go home with a dude that takes selfies like this.
No.
No.
And now he's a skinhead. Now, let me ask you something. If there was a haircut that you would think, socially speaking, would be unacceptable because of what it represents, wouldn't you think skinhead would be more than bowl cut?
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, I'm with you there, totally. Totally, dude. Totally. And I'm somebody that has
Me too. I like short hair.
No,
but
dude, I've
damn.
got childhood baggage because of the fact my mum put a bowl around my head one time and made me look like
no, never me.
Blackadder. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know she's listening right now, and yeah, that was meant as a cheap shot. I remember you doing that to me. I still to this day.
That's excellent. I wish we had some pictures of that. That would be
no,
great.
no.
I would love some pictures of bowl cut Kev.
You know she's going to do that now, right?
I love it. I can't wait.
Dude, if my mother shames me like this,
Oh, that would be epic.
Do you know I had like a blonde bowl cut? Anne's sitting laughing. She's seen them. She's seen the pictures, dude. Oh,
Let me
Anne's
ask
got.
you, did you do that? Let me ask you something. Did you do that to Wee Kev? Did you bowl cut him?
Oh, hell no, dude.
I recall the bowl cut.
No, hell
on
no,
him.
dude. Hell no.
I do. I think I recall Bowl Cut City.
Hell
at some
no, dude. And
time.
he's one. Get this right. I go and get my hair cut, £10, right?
Yeah.
He goes and gets his hair cut. Barbers, £26, dude. That's like
What?
That's like $35, nearly $40 or something.
For what?
To have somebody that doesn't wear socks, kicks about with a hipster beard,
Yeah.
work their magic touch on his head.
Oh, wait a minute. You talking about, is that like sports clips?
It's like a soy boy haircut place, dude.
That's what it is. Okay. All right.
They've got like big. I went in the first time. You're used to a dude's barber, right? You go in. You know, you're lucky
You
if this.
go in and they take out the straight edge.
Yeah,
and
man. Well, this
and
place,
they're like shaving
dude,
you with the straight edge.
this
Yeah,
place has
dude.
got like leather sofas. They come over. A nice assistant. Would you like a cup of tea or coffee, sir? I'm thinking I'm in here to get my
kidding?
hair cut. I'm not choosing a car. Do you know what I mean? Weird.
Exactly.
Bizarre.
Now it's turned into a male day spa.
It's okay though because now he's out in the working world.
Ah.
Yeah. The cold harsh reality. I think Kev will be getting his hair cut with me very soon. He'll be sat in
I'm
the chair
sure he
beside me
will.
for £10, getting sheared like a sheep.
Just make sure he
did
doesn't
I
look
say
like
sheep?
this guy.
So before we go to the break, will we have another Scottish ghosty story?
By all means.
By all means, yes. We'll go to this website here. We'll go back into the tapes. I've not even listened to. Oh, is this Inverness? Do I see Inverness? Inverary, the Phantom Harpist. Let's listen to the Phantom Harpist of Inverary.
Inverary Castle is the long-standing seat of the Campbells of Argyll. The 8th Earl of Argyll was a great lover of music. Listening to the harp was one of his favourite things to do. In 1644, the castle was invaded by the Marquess of Montrose, setting the castle ablaze. The Earl fled in a rowing boat down the waters of Loch Fyne, leaving hundreds of townspeople behind, caught up in the fight. Did he leave something else important behind? Oh yes, he did. The castle's harpist got left behind in the commotion. These days, if you hear the beautiful song of the harp ringing out around the grounds of Inverary Castle, you'll know he's nearby. Some people have claimed he comes into the library and the MacArthur room wearing Campbell tartan and playing his harp. Apparently, his apparition appears more to women than to men. Don't worry though, people say
He's a toxic ghost.
who just likes to entertain. But his eerie
Woo
lullabies are often heard around the castle every year. Visit the beautiful castle and remember to keep an ear out for some spectral string music.
Yeah, not only his music, he's like trying to put women into a trance so he can like work his ghostly hands on them for a woo-too movement.
Would you say, Kev, that he's trying to woo the ladies?
Oh, wow, dude. He's definitely wooing the ladies. Typical Scotsman. Even in death, you know? Thinking about one thing, Scott. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But all of our castles over here, steeped in history. Made of stone, Scotty. And we've spoke about stone so often in the past. The quartz quality of it. The ability that maybe it can record things. Traumatic, stressful, emotional events. People that have lived there in the past. And you've got so many stories of green ladies, white ladies, and all of the castles in Scotland. We've got one called Glam's Castle as well. And I think I've got a story about that later on. I've got that in the grab bag here. You want a haunted castle. You want a song, I'm telling you, man. Glam's Castle, Scotty boy. That's the kind of place. And you had royalty and kind of stuff like that staying there over the years, you know?
Man, I would like to just visit the UK and visit Scotland. You know, the whole area over there. You know, like you said, you know, if you really think about it, you are kind of in like ground zero of woo. You know what I mean?
Well, think of the size of Scotland. I mean, it's absolutely tiny geographically, Scott, compared to even any of your states in America. It's insignificant in size, and yet you've got all of these things concentrated into that one area.
Yes, it's like you're right. It's like concentrated woo. It's like you've squeezed it all, and boom, there you go. And yeah, I mean these castles and just the rich history of everything there. I mean, it far, it's far older than a lot of the stuff here in North America. At least a lot of the stuff built by, people coming over.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm not talking about like the Native American stuff and stuff like that, but I mean, just you have so much stuff, so much history in that area with castles and stuff. It's just insane. Yeah.
We are on the break. We will be right back. There we go. Dang, we're dialing up the woo tonight, folks. This is awesome. 219 souls. Or are there some soulless people in the chat as well? Oh, yes, indeed. Who knows? Do you think they're all real?
Somebody in the chat said distilled woo. That's exactly what Scotland is. It's distilled woo.
I like that.
Very much so. You have to be pickled in order to survive Scotland.
That's where the whiskey comes in, Joe.
What's that?
That's where the whiskey comes in handy, you see? It's not that we're just raging alcoholics just for the sake of it. It's to deal with all the craziness.
Yeah, you just can't take it over there. I don't blame you.
You don't judge me for it, right?
Nope.
That's damn nice of you, dude.
Yeah, man.
I feel better now, right?
Wonderful.
Good. I've even taken away your black pill, Joe.
Oh, man, that's swell, dude. I appreciate it, even though I was kind of enjoying it.
The black pillar.
Just to be honest with you, and I kind of enjoyed that.
It's okay. I've got plenty other hand signs and gifts and things.
I have a black light. I may just end up turning that on just because.
You have a what? Oh, Scott muted up there. What happened there? Have we got glitches on the line?
I think so.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah, but you just kind of...
No, but I'm glitching. The audio's glitching out.
Everything's been glitching today, man.
Yeah.
I've been having all kinds of weird technical issues. I don't know.
I think I need to oil my microphone arm. It's squeaking like it's like sound effects for Freaky Friday, dude.
So it sounds haunted.
Yeah, sure. What's he got now? Here he comes with his black light. Look. Oh, he's going to go into full Crowley mode, folks. Here he goes, opening portals. And last time he done this, he popped up in the kitchen in my house. This isn't pretty, by the way.
I mean, you got to have a black light for the black pillar. So
I think it's only fair. Only fair. And if people are wondering what I'm doing with random bits of paper, obviously I'm a keen origami worker. I like that, Joe. I like that, dude. That looks like you're some kind of character from, like, Fortnite, and you're about to go hitting people over the head with it.
I've got the exact same size black light that Joe has. I've got the exact same black light, Joe.
Do you?
Yeah.
I got it at Spencer's like years and years ago.
Yes, I did too. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah. Wow, crazy. That's crazy. It's in my brother's room right now, but I'll have to drag it out.
Yeah, it works a lot better like when it's in the dark, but then you wouldn't see me. You just see like nothing. My fluorescent shirt and my teeth. That's about it.
You'd have to come out in some like fluorescent body paint, and I don't know if we'd want to see that.
No. You know what the trick with black lights is Tide detergent, Tide laundry detergent. You use Tide on the wall, and then it looks invisible, but you freaking shine a black light.
Well, that's pretty cool, man.
It's all glowy blue.
It looks like when you use luminol on a
Like
crime
luminol.
scene.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Cool.
That's probably what it is, and they charge like thousands of dollars an ounce for that crap, but really it's just Tide laundry detergent.
Here we go, boys. Here we go. I'm watching. We're about to be beamed back in to the network. It's happening.
Hot diggity damn, Kev.
Diggity, diggity, dig. We're getting ready. We're nearly there. Counting it down. T-. Oh no. Kristen's daughter hurt herself at practice. I hope everything's all right there. Dang, people, this is still filling up in here. This is awesome. Here we go, boys. Here we go.
Much better.
Much better than your broken Wookiee, Joe?
No, that was about as broken as mine was, but
Do you think mine's a Mick Wookiee? Do you think he's like broken? Do you think he's like got a drink problem?
did you call him Mech Wookie?
Mick Wookiee.
Oh, Mick Wookie.
Yeah.
I got.
As
Yeah,
in,
yeah, I thought you meant like a mech. Like a
that'd
mech
be kind of
warrior
cool,
Wookiee.
wouldn't it? Like a mechanized Wookiee?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, dude. Imagine
I
going
would,
down
I would
the street
like
in
to
that.
explore that.
Probably it'd be good. But today we are getting into our mother's woo. That sounds a bit wrong, but anyway, we have called on our...
Did we all do that? We were all like,
Yeah, we all cringed at once.
Yeah.
Even when it was coming out of my head, it sounded wrong.
Yeah.
It could have been worse, I suppose. It could have been worse.
I suppose.
It definitely could have been worse. But before I get sidetracked and Joe derails me entirely, we have been pulling on stories that our mothers have provided us for Freaky Friday. Because a few weeks ago, we had a kind of reset. You know, things have been getting crazy on Freaky. We've been talking about this and that and AI and politics. And we all, at the same time, kind of remembered what made Freaky Friday so good and so appealing in the first place. And it was the paranormal. It was the woo. It was things that we could all relate to. Those things that go bump in the night. Those things that we do see out the corner of our eye. The orbs that nobody can really totally explain. You know all the kind of stuff.
All that occulted knowledge.
Yeah, dude. That's exactly it. Now it all ties together. And it is. It's like the X-Files crossed with the Twilight Zone. But
Very much.
only better. Freaky Friday style, Scotty boy.
Yeah, just paranormal, UFOs, the unexplained,
The Almighty.
cryptids.
Doomsday. The apocalypse.
Yeah, the Almighty, Doomsday,
Seriously, Joe? Seriously?
Revelations, baby.
He's the ultimate black pillar, Mr. Begley.
Oh, my Lord.
Mm.
How anybody puts up with that guy, I have no idea.
Because, Joe, he knows that the product he is pushing is something that some people seek. They like the fear vibe. They enjoy the black pill of doom.
I don't know how. See, that's the thing.
I don't get it.
Even when we immersed ourselves in that craziness, it's not something you want to do all the time and live in it. You know, Kev? It's like,
But I do remember
like-
being
it's
there,
a-
Joe. I do remember being there, though.
I do, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's not something the only thing I can say is it has to be like a revolving stock. It does, because I don't understand how people could just keep going and going and going. Because it's like, it's the boy who cried wolf, really, 1,000 times, until finally, you're finally like, man, this is bogus.
So, Kev, is it black pill to pay the bills?
I think I might
definitely.
need to speak to Uni, because I think it is black pill to pay the
Definitely.
bills.
We need to stick Uni on Begley.
Yeah, he already is, dude. I introduced him to Pastor Paul a long time ago, and the minute he seen them, he was very taken by Pastor Paul.
Oh, I missed it. I'm gonna have to love that long time.
Yes, absolutely. And folks, don't forget, go and sub my good friend Unirock TV, Unirock 2. He's got various channels on here. And yeah, great stuff. But we're going to get back in to the paranormal that we were talking about. We go back to Scotty's mum. Yes, indeed. And we're going back to our freaky forests. We know that I've got an issue with forests. I don't know if one day when I was a child I might have been tamper-feared with by a slender man or maybe a slender sheep. Something must have done something bad to me in a forest because, I don't know, there's something about these places. Number 3 on the forests. They'll make you go woo.
Barrens. Pine Barrens, New Jersey is dubbed as one of the most haunted forests in North America.
Okay, New Jersey twice now.
Wait, though. Pine Barrens, New Jersey, dude. You know how many people have been buried out there? That place is a mafia dumping ground.
Oh.
On top of other things, but go ahead.
Oh, so it's like a body farm, but not like a sanctioned one.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, then that would also lead to a lot of paranormal possibly going on out there too. So, yeah, let's go for it.
Big time.
Why? There's a couple reasons. First, it's home to the terrifying Jersey Devil. Second, there are supposedly multiple ghosts seen in the area. And third, it's a place where real-life abandoned ghost towns are found. For centuries, countless urban legends have surrounded the mysterious forest. Over time, these stories change, but the central characters remain. The story of the Jersey Devil started in the 1700s when settlers first arrived. They said a woman named Jane Leeds gave birth to her 13th child. As she was giving birth, she exclaimed in exasperation, "Let this child be the devil." And sure enough, she gave birth to a creature with a pointed tail and wings. After
How often do you see that depiction of the big fella
Wow.
in it? You know, the hairy legs, probably got hoofs there, the horned head. Oh, ooga booga.
to a creature with a pointed tail and wings. After it attacked the family, it quickly flew away. Soon eyewitnesses began reported seeing it.
You see, that's the kind of thing that's hanging off buildings in London, the gargoyles and things like that.
Absolutely.
Paris,
And notice, did you notice what fought the thing and made it go away? Men in pantaloons. Do you notice who guard the Vatican?
Men in pantaloons.
There's a reason why, my friends. It's occulted knowledge. When you're in pantaloons, you're invincible.
And who wants to
And you
mess
just
with the
don't
Swiss
know it
guard
until you wear
anyway?
it.
Who wants to mess with the Swiss guard, dude? They've all got those Swiss army knives. They'll be able to like take out the bottle opener and cut you in half with it.
Pantaloons give you +10 to attack and dexterity.
There you go. There you go. Don't go messing with the Swiss guard.
In 1901, people in Bristol, Pennsylvania saw and heard the creature. One postmaster described it as looking
That
grotesque.
thing looks
I'm-
awful.
I was going to say that isn't grotesque. That is terrifying. The red eyes again, almost Mothmanish.
Holy moly.
And making an unnatural sound before disappearing into the night. Another farmer shot an animal that was killing his chickens in 1925. He
brown chicken,
Brown chicken,
dead.
brown cow.
showed it to more than 100 people, but not one could identify what exactly it was. Sightings of the Jersey Devil are still high even today. People who live close to the forest or go there to explore and camp
little over the top
report
there.
seeing winged creatures or an unidentified animal. The
That's
Pine
pretty bad.
Barrens isn't just about the Jersey Devil. It's also home to the creepiest abandoned ghost towns in the
These ghost
Oh,
towns,
now
guys.
that's creepy.
These ghost towns and things, dude. Oh my.
state. People have dubbed it as Ghost Forest. Remains of actual towns from the 18th and 19th century can still be seen today.
Look at that.
They've been engulfed by the forest and left abandoned, from glass factories, paper mills, cranberry farms, brick-making places, and more. One of the most well-preserved ghost towns is that of Bastow Village. It's dubbed as the Jewel of the Pines because it's one of the best-preserved ghost towns here. One filled with iron and glass-making
Look at that place, dude. That is just
Oh,
like
that place is probably like blood curdling.
that's just
shops. It even made cannonballs for George Washington's army.
that's
Wow.
a big cannon. Big cannon.
As a
That is
result, it's
huge.
no surprise ghosts are prominently seen and experienced by those who explore these woods. One famous ghost is that of a young boy said to be a victim of a hit-and-run accident. He can be seen on Burnt Mill Road in the middle of the night. People say if you drive on the road and turn off your lights, you'll find a boy running after his ball. Another spirit in the Pine Barrens is that of James Still. He was a former slave lynched to death for learning and practicing medicine. There are also reports of a blonde woman, a black dog, headless spirit, and a white stag showing up to greet wanderers in the forest. Whether you're interested to see ghost towns, hunt down a paranormal experience, or want to come face to face with the Jersey Devil himself, Pine Barrens Forest seems to be the place for you.
Big time. Jersey Devil.
Woo.
There's some woo. That's some place, Joe.
Yeah, and like I said, it's so vast that's why the mafiosos used to use that as their burial ground of choice for so many different things, even highlighted in series like Sopranos, you know, which was actually inspired by the Jersey crime family. The prominent, I can't remember the name of them, but
The
but
Gambinos.
anyway, they were the smallest, you know, because they were Jersey, you know. Now they called them like cowboys and hicks, but you know, the New York crime families. But that's where they went to bury their victims.
And it's crazy because, you know, you think the East Coast, you think of big cities, you know, you think New York and all that stuff, and nobody really you really don't understand how much forest land actually covers New Jersey. You know what I mean? It's a lot of rural.
There's a lot of rural and forest in New Jersey. You know, it's very rural in areas, and it's like that throughout the Northeast. The Northeast is very heavy in manufacturing, was throughout the 20th century, but at the same time, you still have quite a bit of area where, you know, like for example, in New England, you've got the Berkshires, mountain range. You've got you know, basically kind of rough terrain.
Well, even the state of New York, you know, everybody just thinks of
very much so.
But once you go outside of New York City, I mean, there's the
state New York is very rural.
Yeah.
Well, I had the cop
so.
on. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he came on with Bill Bean and Mike Super, and it was New York State where him and other state troopers had seen the Sasquatch up that way, or what you would call the Sasquatch. So definitely, I wonder again if there's like ley lines and stuff there, Joe. Scott, I wonder if that's like a kind of ley line convergence point, because there seems to be a lot of woo up and around that way. It really does.
I believe so. I believe so. There's a couple of them, like Salem, Massachusetts is another one that has a lot of history with that.
And that's the Salem, right? The witch trials, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But they say there's a lot of energy there with regard to paranormal activity, and you know, you wonder if it's not something that was created because of all the hype. You know, maybe that energy's there because of that. I don't know. I don't know if that translates.
I wonder if it has to do with like the latitude. You know,
good point.
Could it be on a ley line?
That's a good point, actually.
And if you trace that back and you follow that latitude line, I wonder how many areas in like Europe.
I was going to say,
crosses.
usually New York. I reckon you follow that across that latitude. That's going to be roughly right into the UK.
The brain just said that she believes that where these ley lines intersect are portals. That's
well, you
why
find
there's
a
so
lot
much energy there, and that's why people find them so. Like you'll find pyramids and other.
Well, I was going to say that, Joe, because
ley line.
there's like I think they call it the Grand Line, something like. In fact, I'm not sure of the name of it, but if you follow this all the way from like England into Europe, what you find is a lot of the big Gothic cathedrals and things are built on this one ley line. You know. Yes, the boys are typing hurriedly into the Skype box here because I've showed them the scariest thing of the night. Very, very scary indeed.
Very chic. Very chic.
And I blame my mother for it. Yeah, thanks. I'm not a Catholic, Joe. Not that it would bother me.
You are a Catholic with a bowl cut like that. You have to be.
Dude, if I had been, can you imagine the fun they would have had with me at choir practice, dude?
Oh my! I can't believe they didn't. Matter of fact, I think they did, and you're just in the closet about it.
I'd have ended up like a pincushion. Seriously, man. You know, that's a handsome young child there. People are like, what the hell are they looking at in the background? You like that one, Joe? Yeah, sneak that one in. Some people will get it, some people won't. You might have caught it. I don't know. But we have got another 10 minutes or so before we go to the break. So before we get another creepy forest, we might get some creepy stories. Let's have a creepy Scottish ghost story. What will we go for this time, guys? The harp one didn't impress me.
We go for the White Lady.
can't be a white lady when you're talking about
It
Ooga
has to
Boogas.
be a white lady.
Has to be.
We could go with the green lady.
We could, but the white lady first, right?
Okay.
Here we go. I love that.
Me too.
Dating back to 1160, St Andrew's Cathedral has more than a few stories to tell. One story of note is of the White Lady and her connections to one small square tower of St Andrew's Cathedral, which sits above the rocks on the east coast of Scotland. Although the cathedral wall has several defensive towers to help protect it, this haunted tower is the only square tower built into the walls. The others are all circular. It's therefore rumoured that this tower wasn't for defence, but instead was a place for the bishops to go and reflect. Some say that there was once a local noble family who were good friends with the bishop, having kindly gifted land to the church.
It's always a bishop.
When the plague devastated the town, several of the noble family perished. Those fortunate enough to survive did not want their loved ones' bodies thrown into the plague pits, so the bishop kindly offered his tower as a safe place to keep them until it was safe and they could be given a proper burial. The chamber was sealed up with the bodies hidden inside, but with the changing religious times in St Andrews, the opportunity to remove the bodies was lost, and instead they remained for a long time in the tower, undocumented and forgotten. That is until one day in the 1800s, when a poor stonemason made a terrifying discovery, finding several coffins with the lost bodies, including a woman wearing a white dress and gloves, and passing out with fear. For over 3 centuries, that same tower has been home to the White Lady's ghost, with even the bravest of hearts being filled with fear, and locals warning not to go near it at night. Many have made attempts to identify her, but she still remains a mystery. A path running between the harbour and the main town passes by the tower, and even brave fishermen would rush past as they made their way home at night without even risking a glance up lest she be waiting. And if you're feeling brave, you can still step inside the ruins of St Andrew's Cathedral and peek into the haunted tower, although a metal gate prevents you from going inside. But perhaps that's for your own good, because even this close, you should always watch out for the White Lady of St Andrew's Cathedral.
You see, this
Wow.
this is why I like Australian women, American women, Norwegian women. Imagine going dating with chicks that sound like this. You end up
Listen to
petrified at
this,
the end of
Kev.
the night.
White Lady this is not the only time a white lady is extremely common, almost as common as shadow people. And they happen everywhere. Listen to this. A white lady is a type of female ghost dressed in all white, reportedly seen in rural areas and associated with some local legend of tragedy.
Let me stop you there real quick. We have a white lady ghost here in Topeka, Kansas.
I'm sure you
that
do.
people- Yep.
They're very, very common. White lady legends are found in many countries around the world. They are most prominent in parts of the United States, Ireland, Great Britain, I guess Scotland. Common to many of these legends is the theme of a loss of a daughter, a husband, or father as a sense of purity before death, as opposed to the lady in red. Oh, now, interestingly enough, side story. Ange is a kid, right? Her mom, her sister, and her are walking down the hallway of their house. They're going out of the kitchen, walking into the hallway, and a white lady appears and goes from one room and slowly goes across the hallway, floats across the hallway and into her mother's bedroom, and then disappears. But I mean, just unbelievable, and they turn around and, her mom is like, yeah, that was just, I pray for her and all that she finds her way home, but there's nothing to be afraid of. Kind of like, just a white lady.
We have got, and can I give a?
But think about happen, and you are something happened in that area that was probably bad, and probably bad towards like a woman or.
Yeah.
For example, let me give you a couple of examples.
Well, before you go there, there's people in the chat room agreeing with this,
yeah.
Joe. We've got Queen Goddess. She's talking about seeing the White Lady. Mannerus says yes. The White Lady ghost in Devon. In fact, Queen Goddess, thank you for sharing that. But she says she's seen the White Lady and then her mum died the following year, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Interestingly enough, too, you know, my wife is an abuse victim, and so is her mom. And there was a lot of abuse going on in the house at that time. And interestingly enough, that was the entity that appeared. So, and it attacked, you know, that all this these bad things happening to these women on top of that, just a lot of bad energy in the house. And that's what manifested. So I find that interesting too. That's just a little side story, but listen to this. There's places all over the world. Let's go to Kanadistan, where they say a popular legend claims that the surrounding of the Mount Morency Falls near Quebec are haunted by a white lady. It is said to be the spirit of a young Canadian woman whose soon-to-be husband was killed while fighting against the British in the Battle of Beauport. The young couple allegedly used to meet near the top of the falls, and accordingly, the grieving woman is said to have chosen the site to end her life by throwing herself in the raging waters while wearing the wedding dress that she had recently ordered to be made. A smaller waterfall in the vicinity now bears the name Chute de la Dame Blanche, or White Lady Waterfall, in reference to this legend. So interestingly enough, the White Lady appears there, and that's where that lady kind of plunged to her death. Let's see here. What else do we got? Estonia, the most famous white lady of Estonia.
You mean Estonia?
I mean Estonia. Yes. The most famous white lady of Estonia resides in Haapsalu Castle. Ooh, a castle. That's always good. She is said to be the woman who a cannon fell in love with. That doesn't sound right. She hid in the castle as a choir boy and remained a secret for a long time. But when the bishop of Oselweek visited Haapsalu, she was discovered and immured in the wall of the chapel for her crime.
What is it about this being like interred in walls of chapels and things? Dude?
I don't know. See, that's crazy. To this day, she is said to look out of the baptistery's window and grieve for her beloved man. She can be seen on clear August full moon nights. So interesting there, huh?
And a full moon thing going on as well. Pretty interesting too, Joe.
Yeah.
And we've got Germany.
Yeah.
It says the White Lady was first reported to be seen in the Berlin's Schloss, or Berliner Schloss, in 1625. And sightings were reported up until 1790. The castle is the residence of the King of Prussia. So the lady has been linked to several historical figures. One, the guilt-ridden Countess Kunigunda of Orlamund, born in Lagravine of Lichtenberg, and who, according to legend, murdered her two children because she believed they stood in the way of her marriage to Albert of Nuremberg. Damn. And another one is, or another candidate for the ghost, is the unfortunate widow Bertha of Rosenberg from Bohemia, overthrown by the heathen Preshta. There's a legend of a white lady who was the prince's wife in the town of Rieda Weidenbruck, and that's in Westphalia. Westphalia? I wonder what... Is that like somebody that's into people that go west?
It's not Australia, it's Westphalia.
Yeah. You got to watch that Westphalia. You know, it's dangerous. That compasses need to watch themselves.
Yeah.
The prince was away fighting in the 30 Years' War, and his wife took a wandering minstrel as a lover. I love that. A wandering minstrel, no less. What, one of like chocolates, the wee chocolate things? You can't do that to a chocolate bar, can you?
Get over here. No, she's going down the street and sees the wandering minstrel. Get over here, boy.
The prince returned unexpectedly, caught the two lovers, and drowned the minstrel in the moat. That sounds like a good name for a book, doesn't it? Minstrel in the moat. The prince returned unexpectedly, caught the two lovers. Oh, I've done that bit. Hang on. He then took his wife and encased her in a wall, Joe. Another wall.
Another wall. What is it with these people?
Dang.
Why are they encasing people in walls?
I don't get it, dude.
Maybe they just figured, that's the most kind of like easiest way to dispose of a body and like nobody to find it. Like they think it's a really good hiding spot. Put them in the wall. Nobody's gonna look in the wall until years later when somebody tries to knock it down and they're like, "Oh crap, there's a body in here."
This is crazy.
Like why do the mafia keep putting people in cement?
There we go. There we go. We'll be back after the break, folks. Oh my, half of the show down. Have to go right here on tfrlive.com, where silence is consent and the woo is strong. There we go. We're on the break. And since we're on the break now, guys, you can
fantastic.
You can share with the audience, okay? You can Tommy in the chat's having real problems trying to join the channel, or he's had to reset his password and
we're
things.
Just having problems all over the place.
We are
sounding like Dookie, and that's acting up.
And I want to thank Dwayne, and I want to thank my good friend, my sister, Marty, both of them supporting the stream via PayPal. It's absolutely fantastic. We've got super chats here. We've got the channel memberships. Remember, we've got the Sunday members-only chat stream. Yes, mods had a word with me. They said maybe a good idea to keep everyone involved and just keep it to members-only chat. So that's what we're going to do. Everyone still gets to see the show. You might not be able to participate in the chat. But if you want to join the channel and unlock all of those crazy cool emojis that even Google approve of, then yes, please consider joining. Now, boys, with that out of the way, let the audience know why you were in fits of laughter at something on Skype during that last segment.
Oh, why would I want to do that to you?
Will I do it to myself? That's the question.
You were a good-looking kid, Kev.
Quite chic.
Yeah, your
Like
mom
I said,
had great.
You got a good look. You got a good Catholic boy look.
Can you hear her laughing in the back?
You look like a good Catholic boy. That's why Ann chose you.
Will I do it?
Hey, just make sure she knows that I know why. Good Catholic girl meets good Catholic boy. I see how it is.
She's a Catholic girl.
And the bowl cut is what keyed her off to it. I'm just telling you.
Okay, but the only thing is, when I show this picture, right, it can never be unseen again. And once something's on the internet, it's on the internet, right?
How can you say unseen, dude? You were a dapper young man.
Okay, right, okay, I'll go for it. Here we go, folks. Remember, I was talking yesterday with Scott when we were talking about band haircuts, and then today.
This is funny, doesn't she?
You hear her?
Oh yeah, I hear. I'm just wondering when the shoe's coming.
Please don't do it.
There we go, folks. There we go. There he is. Let's flip that round a bit. Let's see now. He's upside down. Hang on now. Hang on. Transform him. Flip him.
That is unbelievable hairstyling products, Kev.
Come on. What's happening
It's not
here?
moving while you're upside down.
Transform.
Oh, wow.
Hang on,
That
Joe.
is one
Oh,
solid
what the hell's
bowl right
happening?
there. Look at that. Wow.
Hang on. There we go. There we
it
go.
is. Look, you got kind of a
Oh.
Napoleon look to you. I got to be honest with you. You kind of look like a little prepubescent Napoleon.
It does look like one of them classic paintings, right?
Doesn't it?
They posed for.
All he do is put his hand in his breast, between his buttons.
Well, it's time to go back to the network, folks. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Let's go back
I'm
to the
just gonna-
network, folks.
I'm just gonna
go
let you
back
guys.
now.
For the best information.
I'm just gonna let you guys know I may have to shoot off very soon. It's not sounding very good outside right now.
Oh, come on. It's just an F3.
Yeah, it's only a tornado, Scott. Don't be soft. Don't go soy on us, man.
I thought your chair's rated at least to an F4.
Yeah, but see,
Here we go,
my
boys.
chair-
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Before Scott gets blown away.
Yeah.
We're back. We're live, and I have transformed into the Wookiee during the break. I transformed into something, that's for sure. And yeah, if you want to see, in fact, don't even worry about it. Scotty Lopez might be having to leave us soon. What's this all about, Scott? I heard a rumor that your mum's been feeding you soy. What's happening?
No, I live in Kansas. That's what's happening. And for those of you who don't know, Kansas is pretty well known for severe weather, and looks like we got a little bit of that moving in right now. So if I just suddenly disappear, or if you see my camera just go,
Yeah, or like, is it Wi-Fi? Is it Bluetooth? Because hopefully it is. Maybe we'll get to see a little bit of it, like catching air. But I thought for sure that your chair was rated to at least an F4.
I actually thought, I thought it would have like
Because
anchors
I thought,
on it.
doesn't it have the force field?
Look. The chair and me, we're F4 rated.
Right.
The power poles and my computer, and the internet, not so much.
I got you.
So,
Damn it.
And lightning bolts.
Yes.
Those are a hell of a thing.
I suppose they would be. Yeah.
And
damn it.
they're kind of attracted to my yard because we live on a hill.
We've been getting a ton of rain lately, and I don't mean like a ton of rain, cumulative speak. It has been a wet year, but I mean like 2 and 3 inches at a clip. There was one storm where we got like 8 inches. It's just, I don't know about you guys, but I don't remember, in my childhood and growing up, I don't remember these rainstorms where we were talking inches of rain every time it rained, So
it's been a record year for rain,
I
even
mean,
here.
super wet.
Yeah.
The black pill's back for Joe. The black pill's back. We're all doomed. It's raining outside.
That's what I'm saying. We're all gonna get like fungus lungs and stuff from all the moisture all the time, and just like.
So you know what we need to do, damn it? We need to get an ark built, Joe. That's what we need.
It's so humid.
Oh, honestly, but we are getting into the creepy, the weird, the woo. And one of the bits that's really taken me tonight so far is these clips about the spooky forest, guys.
Great. What gold.
It is. It truly is. I mean, I don't know why or how we fell into the whole kind of
How did we fall into whistles? Just out of curiosity.
Whistles? How? No, that's don't worry about that. That was I clicked a link. See, there we go.
Right. Okay, I got you.
You see,
I was like, hey, whistles.
Yeah, he was on a show with me just during the week there, dude. He was
that's
back.
Fantastic.
Yes,
I'm glad that he's getting up and about a little bit.
Yeah, but we're streaming exactly. That's what I was saying. I appreciate any segment I can do with whistles, and to get him on camera as well. Really, really cool. So let's go for number 2 in the frightening forests. Any guests out there? Anyone want to guess where this might be? I can't think of scary forests off the top of my head.
No, I don't have a lot of exposure to scary
do you know
forests.
before we get back into
this?
Do you know before we get back into this, I still think we should pull up maybe one of the weirdest things that we found in the woods.
Oh,
stairs,
yes, we were just talking about these
in the woods. Yeah. This kind of thing.
See, that's spooky. I got to be honest with you. See, where we lived in North Carolina, we were surrounded by spooky forest. We were on 10. It was like 10 acres of spooky forest. I mean, when Mel and Aaron came out, they were real spooked about it. Like they crashed their drone in there and had to go in, and it was like, they were like, "Whoa, I'm never doing that again."
They're alive though.
Oh yeah, they're alive. But that's what I'm saying. It's just like it was spooky. But You see pictures of these stairways to nothing. Yeah.
I know. It's almost like, I know this sounds weird, but it's almost as if we have merged with another, like, dimension.
That's just unbelievable. Look at that. It's just so out of place.
Yeah. And it's like people are, I mean, it's not just the one thing that, and I know from the last time we brought this up on the show, people were absolutely bamboozled. And I'm still as bamboozled to this day. Still as bamboozled. I've got no explanation
Nothing
for
like
it.
a spiral staircase just out in the forest.
I mean,
It's so weird, man.
That
It's
almost looks like Roman construction right there. Like that was back in Roman times.
it just looks so out of place.
Those arches, because that's very synonymous with like Roman arches. But look at where it is. It's in North Carolina. Like, what is that doing there?
Weird, huh?
Isn't it?
Yeah, we were just talking about the stairs in the forest just the other day, me and my mom, because we were looking for the story. My mom was looking for stories and stuff, and she's like, "Remember the stairs in the forest?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's so weird. It is so weird. It is. It's almost like what's the point in them even
what's
being
the
built
point?
out there?
What did this do and why? Like, who was using these?
It's like I say,
Look
it's
at
almost
that.
like we've merged with somewhere that had houses or like properties in these places.
Or it was dumped, but that's not dumped. See, like the ones that wind and
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah,
That
exactly.
was there.
I'm kind of with Kev on this. It's almost like we've phased into another like parallel.
Yeah. Look at that.
And they just kind of phased into existence and just like stayed there or something. It's
Could you
weird.
imagine? You're just there, and next thing you know, holy
I
shit.
mean, look at that.
Staircase.
That's
Yeah. Like, how does that just show up? And who puts it there? That's the other thing, right?
Who decides, hey, Bill, let's just go out in the middle of the forest and build a staircase. Just build an old staircase right next to the trees over there.
okay. Somebody
Ange
saying
thinks it's there for ritualistic purposes.
somebody's saying they can't get the super chat to work. Hang on, I'm just going to test something here, folks. Hang on.
Please, yes. This is a test of the super chat.
Yes, this is a
system.
test.
This is only a
folks.
test.
This is a test, folks. Don't panic. Don't panic. And it's still working there. Yeah, it's still working.
This is a test super chat alert for £28.
That would be nice. I just donated myself a fake £28. It's like a bank, just creating money out of nothing, giving it to myself, Scott, Just got with a bank of Kev over here, right? That's
Yes,
weird.
Yes, it's the Federal Reserve. It'll be the Federal Bank of Kev.
That's kind of weird, unless we've offended the algorithm. Maybe the Ooga Boogas are working on it.
Ange said that oftentimes in the woods you'll find like stairs or a door or even a window, and it's ritualistic and it's symbolic. They're trying to open a portal, and you'll find those around those areas in the woods.
Now, listen. At first, like, hearing that makes actual kind of sense, eh? You're almost, yeah, that does. That's kind of weird woo. Marty
Nothing
in the
like
chat
bringing
room.
it, yeah.
Marty,
Like you open a portal and poof,
Yep.
there it is at the top of the stairs, and then oh crap, shut it.
Marty says,
Oh yeah, there was a
y'all-
movie called The Gate in
okay.
the 80s. Yeah.
So Marty says, y'all, now I don't think I will ever go to the woods again. Shame there's woods all over the area where I live. Yeah, every time we talk about woods, it puts me more and more in fear of ever going near them again, I must admit.
Number 2, the Black Forest.
Nah, you see right away, it's got an ominous
Oh
name.
yeah, it's already this is bad.
Yeah.
Sitting alongside the Rhine River, you'll find a deep, dark forest with such a thick canopy of tall trees, hardly any sunlight penetrates through.
Yeah, it's where these crazy Bavarians used to run around, folks.
This
It's
area
always
in
those
Germany
crazy
is known
Bavarians.
appropriately as the Black Forest. For many, this place has become synonymous with the evil forest you would find mentioned in haunting fairy tales. In fact, we have the Brothers Grimm to thank for that imagery, since many of their stories set in deep, dark forests take inspiration from this location.
Was that a wolf or was that a wolf man? Not a wolf gran, but a wolf man.
Yes.
As mentioned, the
Altered
woods are filled with thick, tight trees that in most areas, they consistently block out the sunlight. It makes for an eerie and quiet atmosphere.
Oh, what do we got?
Clapham Woods, Kev.
Clapham Woods. Okay, I'll Google Clapham Woods
Very
Paranormal
good.
while
Clapham
we're
Woods
doing
it
this.
is.
Thank you very much, Kazi, my very, very, very special fellow Scots person out there. I
Very
thank you
nice.
for that. There we go.
So it's no surprise the forest is reportedly home to the supernatural. For instance, there's the story of the Baden nymphs. These water dwellers reside in the murky waters of Mummel Lake right beside the forest. The nymphs live together with the Mummelsea king. Legends say you should never throw rocks into the water by the forest or you'll anger the king and incur his wrath. Meanwhile, in the nearly vanished town of Volmaspur, they say a headless horseman rides out every year. Inside the forest, there's also the Eberg Castle. It's said that beautiful, charming ladies are constantly present inside it, but they can only be seen at night.
What were they there, folks? What were they?
White ladies.
But they can only be seen at night. There are even tales of a ghost king who abducts young girls foolish enough.
Can you imagine coming across anything?
I think my my constipation would be done with at that point.
I mean, I've got.
If I saw that, Kev, holy moly!
Yeah, I'd be. I don't even know if I could run. I'd probably be frozen.
No,
to
you
the
probably
spot.
could. Yeah, that's one of those freeze you right in your tracks, dude.
Yeah, your brain's telling your legs to go and nothing's happening, man.
To wander inside
Exactly.
the forest. As if these weren't enough, there are many stories of werewolves, witches, and even UFO sightings inside the Black Forest.
Yes, because I think these areas are porous parts of the veil, be it Sasquatch,
Agreed.
be it werewolves, be it UFOs, be it fairies, whatever it is, these things will manifest in these
Yeah.
specific locations, right?
Seems to be that kind of energy or that kind of gateway, if you will.
Yeah. Or should we say top of the stairway, Joe?
The top of the stairway.
Because of these stories,
And it ain't
paranormal
dead.
experts and tourists with a panache for adventure constantly explore the area. Sure, there are many quaint, charming towns nearby and
Look how lovely that is, though, eh?
Wow. Look
plenty
at
of
that.
hiking
Beautiful.
trails as well. But the creepy and terrifying stories remind you
Okay,
that
that's
maybe,
not-
No, that's not at all. That's not. So that's
No.
what Greta gets up to on her time off.
just maybe, the Black Forest isn't a place you should be wandering into.
Well, I'm definitely agreeing. I don't think I would want to get lost in the Black Forest, guys, at all. No.
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 You know what? I don't want to get lost in any
Especially at
forest.
night. Anything like that. And if you notice, it is dark. It's very dark. And that's not necessarily a spooky thing in and of itself. But then you start seeing these creatures that are prevalent where these areas of energy are, where these gateways are, where these portals are. And that's crazy. And I'll tell you, all these stories have truth in them. People may embellish when they talk about things, but normally when they see things like this, it freaks them out so bad. It's kind of hard to it's not one of those things that you right away when somebody's telling the truth about these kind of
And it's
these kind
something
of
that's
stories.
it's as clear and as fresh in that person's mind today, no matter
Yeah.
how long goes on.
It's like a 9/11 for them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly,
It's-
dude. It's there.
that-
It's
That
not.
kind of
No, Joe's glitching on us. He's glitching big time. Look at Joe, glitchy Joe. He's back now. But we got something on the super chat talking about Clapham Forest, and I've heard of Clapham Forest. And look where I find Mysterious Universe has
Oh
got
man,
a story.
how do you like that?
Yes. So yes. So for you, Kazi, we're gonna take a look at Clapham Wood. It says the world. Let's bring it over here so I can see better. The world has a long history of forests with apparently supernatural qualities, from the legendary Black Forest We're
Ah,
of southern
oh, no.
Germany. How weird is that? How synchronistic, boys. We are
So
on it.
synchronistic.
Yep. Where every manner of creature, from werewolves to sorcerers, are said to originate. To England's haunted Witchwood forest, possibly the most haunted forest in Britain. To Japan's Akigahara forest, also known as the Sea of Trees, where more than 500 really, really bad things have been reported since the 1950s. Now, if you hear me like changing words for like really, really bad things, I'm playing Algorithm Olympics, folks. Think about it. There's something vaguely romantic about a mysterious wood, like Sherwood Forest of Robin Hood fame. Men jumping about in tights, not romantic, which was known as a haven for everything evil. The idea that a forest holds wicked truths and supernatural power seems to speak to us in a primal way. Oh, yes, indeed. Ancient stories perpetuate the myths of such haunted places, and the anonymity of a ghost story involving such a vast area seems to give license to more than a few urban legends. So we keep coming down here and it says, oh, we've got an incoming soon. We're going to have that crazy tune on again. One such instance of high strangeness is Clapham Wood, where the aptly named Clapham Wood Mystery has been...
Love this channel. Thanks Queenie for the reminder to join into such a great crew.
Oh, Mannerus, we thank you. We thank all of the audience, TFR, YouTube, everyone, iHeartRadio. It's all one big mixing pot. You know, we come together, we get into all of this. Everyone involved. So it says located in West Sussex, England, Clapham Wood stands to the north of a small village of Clapham. Funnily enough, historically, Clapham has been an archetypal English village, one that has been around likely since Saxon times. Over 300 years, it has remained largely hidden from the outside world, except, that is, for the last 4 decades. Now, perhaps the most mundane feature of Clapham Wood is its abundance of UFO sightings. Since the 1960s, there have been hundreds of strange sightings both in the woods and in the village itself. Of course, to say that a UFO sighting or say that UFO sightings are mundane may give you the wrong impression. The area has been the focus of a great deal of ufological study and has hosted a number of skywatching vigils over the years. In addition, people have reported unexplained nausea and the distinct feeling that they were being followed. Now, Scott, let me stop there, man. That's pretty strange, right? That suggests there's some kind of energy in there that's affecting people. When you're hearing of nausea, you know, and that feeling that you're being followed as well, something's heightening your senses in there, Scott.
Yes, exactly. And that is the same. Those are the same things that were happening to everyone, going back to the Bokchu Forest thing in these areas where, these circles where nothing is growing.
Now, I have to explain to people, Scott hasn't been cut in half. The storm didn't come along and do him some permanent damage. It's just Joe Joseph has dropped out because of his connection right now. I believe that's what it is anyway. Scott, I need to kind of reshape you here. Hang on, dude. If I pull you down, there you go. There you are, man. See, and now when Joe comes back, I pull it back up and down, and everyone's happy, right?
Yes. So, yeah, but this is the same experience people are having. This feeling of nausea, this feeling of anxiousness, like you're being watched. That's what I remember them talking about in the whole Bokchu Forest thing. And they were feeling really ill, like they were wanting to throw up and almost like, like nausea and stuff like that. And so I think we're dealing with some kind of a strange energy going on here, and it's affecting the body, obviously. And
magnetics,
you're right.
Something like that,
Magnetics. Yeah, I mean, look at how sensitive some people are to EMF, right? If something like this is giving off crazy amounts of energy, if we're talking about something along a ley line or a natural vortex of some sort, then yeah, anybody going in there is immediately going to feel some effects of this.
And Scott, you're literally walking through the body of something that's living, right? Because you've got all the trees, you've got all the life, but then you've got all the roots, that network underground where the trees literally send signals to each other. They communicate. The fungus in the forest, everything else, it's like an alien world, dude. You're looking for an alien. Just take that forest ecosystem. That's like an entity, you know?
Yeah, and if you look into a lot of the stuff that was it Paul Stamets, the mushroom guy.
Yeah.
He talks about the mycelium. He talks about the mycelium growth in forests
hang on
how
now.
it.
There we go. If I bring this other one back, we should get Scott back right here. Hang on now. They've moved positions. I get that.
Sorry,
Hey, there we go. Don't be sorry at all, Joe. This is
buddy. Yeah,
good.
there you go. Black Pill Scotty.
You see, during the break, I'm going to explain why this streaming setup works so well. There's a reason for everything coming together. There's a reason for the synergy between, like, hosts and people out there, be it TFR, be it YouTube. We're all coming together, and I've designed it that way, folks. I've designed it that way. I'll get into how I'm brainwashing you all during the break. But it says here...
Come on, Kev. Put the black pill back above my head. I'm the one that brought it to the table today.
You want it with you, Scott? There you go, dude. It looks like
I want it. Yeah, there we go.
Your black pill with
he's
your
owning
black
it, Kev.
pill.
He's owning it.
Yeah, he wears it like a hat, dude.
He is. He's owning
Yeah,
it.
it just looks like a little hat. Yeah,
It's like one of the the Jews that have got like the little box on their head. It's like
Very
a bigger
nice.
version of that.
Yeah, I wonder if you could position it like over my eyes. No.
I
Yeah.
could. Like when I
Jordan.
get my
There he
super
is.
secret Navy intel source on, that's what I'm going to do.
You could do that and then get a joint in there and it'd be thug life.
Trying to join, but for now Plaza have my 2 quid victory hand.
I'm going to check during the break. Victory hand. Yes, Brian.
Thank
Give
you,
us the
Tommy.
victory hand. Tommy, you're a legend, man. Long time listener. Long time. I know that name from way back. So then, if we come back here, it says reports of a strange grey mist appearing suddenly on pathways throughout the wood, and instances of ghostly forces pushing hikers and dog walkers have been known for years, and studies using a Geiger counter showed a slightly higher level of radiation in the area, although the measurements are fleeting and difficult to localize. Makes you wonder then if there is something to do with radioactivity, nuclear weapons, things like that have an ability they have, or there may be telltale signs of a vortex. We let off nukes, we open portals, we've seen the UFOs uptick after that, and maybe these naturally forming portals, I'm not talking about radioactive material there, I'm talking about the process of them ripping holes in space and time. Does that leave radioactive sediment?
I would have to imagine it would leave some sort of
Fingerprint. Yeah.
Right?
So it says 3 cases in particular, which were covered widely by the press, told of 2 dogs that went missing without a trace, and a third that suffered a mysterious paralyzation. The son of Peter Love, while walking their family chow in the wood, watched as the dog ran amongst a thicket of trees in the forest and disappeared, never to be seen again. The following week, farmer John Cornford's collie disappeared in the same place. And a third dog, a golden retriever owned by Mr. E.F. Rollins, was found partially paralyzed after running into the woods. Now, the cause of which was never determined, and which eventually led to it being euthanized. This was only the tip of the iceberg. In 1972, the body of an unidentified woman was found in Clapham Woods. The case was investigated by police constable Peter Goldsmith. Now, among others at his detachment, among others, in June of the same year, Goldsmith himself disappeared. Goldsmith, a former Royal Marine Commando, was last seen walking across the rolling downs, grassy chalk hills, near the town's 13th century church. Now, despite intense investigation and a wide search of the entire area, his body wasn't found until 6 months later, on the 13th of December, amid a thick patch of bramble less than a
How'd you
half
like
mile
that?
from the location where the girl's body was found. No suspect was ever identified, nor was the cause of death. And it doesn't end there, because
Wow.
in July 1975, and we have got, Tommy, a new member. Oh yes,
You the man,
indeed.
Tommy.
So in
Nice.
1975, pensioner Leon Foster. Tommy, you've made my night. You people all make my night. Disappeared and was subsequently found 3 weeks later by a couple who were searching for a horse in the wood. A horse that had also gone missing under mysterious circumstances. Next, Halloween 1978, the vicar of Clapham, the retired Reverend Harry Snelling, went missing. His body was found 3 years later by a Canadistan tourist, Joe.
Wow.
Again, no cause of death could be identified. And we'll pick up the Clapham Woo from the Clapham
Yeah,
Woods
because wow, this
after the
this
break.
is another creepy wood, you know?
Yeah, just another one of many. We'll be right back. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, for all you folks on YouTube, okay, let me explain. Let me riddle you this. I was talking about how these synchronicities, they seem to be picking up, especially on the show. Random stories we
Absolutely.
go to, they all link together, stuff like that. And I was saying, it's almost by design. That's the way this stream has been set up to roll. And Scott knows what I'm talking about. You've got an idea what I'm talking about, Scotty. But when I say to you listeners out there, when you look at this stream, when you look at the graphics, how we've set it up with the cameras and everything else, is there anything that strikes you at all? And Scotty, I think once you point it out, once you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
Yeah. Once you see it, you can't. It's one of those weird things to where you'll be guessing for.
Scotty
I don't
muted out.
understand how you. First of all, because I see it now, and it just kills me because now you're right. I can't unsee it.
Okay,
Yep.
so we've got a couple of 10 seconds or so, the chat room will start catching up. But there's something almost, we have gone with the design of the universe is encoded right here into the stream. And I'm thinking if we have the right coding, the right math involved in the stream, then that in itself could lead to a better flow of the energy. A better flow of the energy from us, from the stream.
I'll tell you what, Kev. I think it's working.
To YouTube, to all of you out there, to the point where Kev gets meetings with Google now. And Google are impressed
look
with
at
the chat, you see? So have you seen what it is yet, folks? Can you see how I have manipulated the stream using universal math? Pollination, he has got it right. The golden ratio. Let me show you,
Look
folks.
at that.
Let me take you on a tour. If you go to the middle there where you see the view counter, 254 people in there right now, right? You've got a little rectangle. If you go up above it where the globe is, you've got a rectangle which is 1.6 times the size of that first rectangle. You come round here to the jar that takes all of your generous tips. It really does. I empty it out at the end of the stream. I don't really, but it sounds good. And again, we go that golden ratio, about 1.5 times the size of the one before it. Coming down here to there, over to the chat room, you see how things are getting steadily bigger and bigger. And if you were to look at this box here where the cameras are, forget the kind of divisions, the separations. Just think of this box being bigger than this chat box here. And of course, that takes us round in the perfect spiral to the main box. The stage where everything is set. The golden ratio. And I'll show people, Scott, while you talk about it so they get it.
Yes, and it's very interesting because the golden ratio, right? It's the most efficient way for nature to pack things into a small space.
It is.
And how convenient is it that when you said you set up your template like this, that it was much easier for you to arrange your graphics and everything within these boxes because
The
it was a
golden
natural.
rectangle.
It was a natural way for everything to be laid out. It provided a natural, mathematically perfect template for everything. So I thought that was pretty cool. You just use the golden ratio to your advantage, and it makes a really cool template for your stream.
Yeah, I mean, I flipped this round. Obviously, I manipulated it so we had the big bit on the right hand side. But it was I actually struck upon this by mistake, Joe, and I have to thank Nancy, our good friend Nancy Lalonde, because she says, "Look at you, with your golden ratio set up," and I'm thinking, "What are you talking about?"
Ding.
And then it dawned on me. Here we go. We're going back to the mothership, folks. Oh, yeah. I don't even know what that was. Was that like a...
Wait,
Was that a camp, Wookie?
I think for this episode, I think we need some kind of like werewolf howl or something.
You like that? I'll
How
find
about
us a
bear
werewolf.
chicken?
I'll find us a werewolf by the end of it. I will. I'll find us... Not, can we have like a creepy chicken? Is there any kind of like paranormal chicken? Is there stories? We've got the Mothman. We've got Dogman. But is there like Chicken Man?
Yeah, is there like Chicken Man? I mean, we have blue chicken.
David Wilcock. Only
Chicken
joking, folks. I'm only joking. Let us...
I mean, the last 4 letters of his name.
I know... It was
saying.
hidden in plain sight all the time. He was always destined to be...
The Chicken Man.
The Chicken Man.
Cody in the chat. Very clever. Very clever. Cody in the chat.
What's Cody saying?
Should I say?
Yeah.
The golden fellatio.
Oh, I like that. Well, yes, very, very risky. I like that. But we are going back to the Clapham Woods. And folks, you know how I like to, in recent times, usually during the daytime stream, pass out my sage dating advice. If a man with a beard like mine and a face like mine ever says to you, "Would you like to take a walk down to Clapham Woods?" Yeah, it's a red flag, folks. You don't go to the woods with a beard like this. It never ends well, Scott. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking of Popeye taking people to the woods and things with his magical beard.
Well, yeah, remember, he liked to take people to the wood shed, so...
It was code. Little did we know. So, Clapham Woods. And we got to 1975. And this is pensioner Leon Forrester. We done that bit. He was discovered by the Canadian dude. And then in 1981, a homeless schizophrenic named Gillian Matthews disappeared. When her body was found in the forest, police determined that she had had a really, really bad things done to her and that she had died due to suffocation. While no culprit was ever brought to account for these heinous crimes, this doesn't mean that there aren't a few theories about who was responsible. Paranormal investigator Charles Walker, who was looking into the strange goings-ons in and around Clapham, received a telephone call from an unknown man. Oh, this takes us back to the Men in Black that I was talking about last week with Ben Emlyn Jones. Described as a well-spoken, the man claimed to have inside knowledge of the cause of the strange happenings in Clapham Wood. A very spooky late-night rendezvous was arranged inside Clapham Woods. Right, who does that? Who goes and meets with a stranger at
Not that place.
No, exactly. That ain't going well. And it was at a place called...
Unless they said, "Oh, come on, that's all bunk. We'll go there because everybody's afraid to go there."
Maybe.
And then it ends up backfiring.
Yeah, when Walker arrived at the agreed location, he could find no one there until a voice called out from a nearby bramble, claiming it would be too dangerous for both of them if Walker had seen the identity of the mysterious tipster. The concealed informant explained that he was an initiate of a Satanist cult called the Friends of Hecate, or Hecate. Hecate, Joe?
I don't know. Hecate?
Yeah.
Hecate?
That's how I always pronounced it, was Hecate.
Friends of Hecate. He claimed that the woods were used for their monthly meetings and that the missing animals had been used as sacrifices to Hecate. He made no mention of the deaths of the constable or the reverend or any of the others, but Walker drew a conclusion between all of the events just the same. The mysterious man then issued a dire warning saying, "There are people in high places involved, holding positions of power and authority, who will tolerate no interference. We will stop at nothing to ensure the safety of our cult."
Ooh.
Now, I think there's a why does my gut tell me there's a grain of truth in this?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. It says this warning came close on the heels of Reverend Snelling's disappearance, which occurred barely a week before. Now, the Friends of Hecate are reportedly an occult sect that worships Hecate, an ancient pagan goddess said to be associated with crossroads, fire, light, the moon, magic, witchcraft, the knowledge of herbs and poisonous plants, which over the years has been mistaken for witchcraft, necromancy, and that's obviously the dead, and sorcery. So typically, worship of Hecate or Hecate finds its roots in a re-evaluation of ancient Greek mythology, and is not readily attributed to Satanism. Nonetheless, the Friends of Hecate laid claim to the mysterious woods of Clapham for a period of at least 20 years, allegedly holding monthly ritualistic gatherings, at which a blood sacrifice was always required. It is believed that the group used Clapham Woods until they were forced to find an alternate location after the Great Storm of 1987 damaged large tracts of the forest. Now, apparently, as a result of all the suffering and death that have occurred in and around Clapham Woods, many paranormal investigators today believe the forest to be among the most haunted places in England. When one considers the morbid history of the area, accompanied by the reported UFO activity, one is hard-pressed to retain skepticism of this assertion. It seems clear, though, something strange calls the woods of Clapham home.
I wouldn't even necessarily call it home. I would call it more of like maybe a portal. Again, here they have all these rituals. They're doing sacrifices. Why? Because there's probably high energy there.
They know it's a place of high energy, of where the veil is thinned, and so when they go and they do these rituals and they put their intent in that location, it amplifies everything, right? So,
absolutely.
Yep.
And then of course the whole UFO thing. Not only are there, you look at it a couple of ways. You can look at it like the legacy alien type of way and say, man, do these aliens and their craft, can they sense these areas of intense energy, or maybe they use it to refuel, or your imagination can go wild so many ways that way,
And another interesting is that, lately I've been looking at the whole UFO phenomenon from an entirely different angle.
Is that right?
Yeah. Just within the past year or so, I've kind of shifted my thought process on the whole UFO phenomenon. And I'm, instead of looking at it from the traditional aliens and outer space, visitation, I'm looking at UFOs from the perspective of supernatural and spiritual perspective.
Oh, that's great.
And not all of these UFOs that people are seeing are alien spacecraft. Maybe they're entities that are manifesting. Maybe there's some kind of a supernatural phenomenon that they're witnessing. You notice that people see that there's like there's like a lot of UFO sightings in countries where the population is very spiritual. Mexico, for example, right?
Yeah.
You see,
down in South America, Central America, yeah.
And they see UFOs all the time, and it just makes me wonder if maybe because they have more of a connection with their spiritual, that they have more of a spiritual connection than, say, the United States, that maybe these things are manifesting over their countries more often, right? Because they have they have a deeper connection with spirituality, so they've kind of opened themselves up to see these things, as
one
opposed to
one thing that has picked up in intensity, both here, but especially like you say, in those areas where you have a lot of spiritual activity or intense belief, like your Central America, South America, is exorcisms, or the need of exorcisms, and where like you have people possessed, like in schools, these demons manifesting themselves. I mean, like literally, these things are happening now all over the place. And you make a great point in that a lot of these UFO sightings could in fact be life forms, or entities, let's just say, or spirits.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think people need to start looking at it from that angle, as opposed to, well, they're just aliens that flew in from,
Yeah, right. That's, to me, that's legacy thinking. You can't think that. It's okay to think that way, but you definitely got to branch out and not box yourself in.
Or, yeah, at least if you think that way, keep the mind open,
way of looking
Scott,
at it.
right? You keep the mind open at the same time as that's your main go-to.
That possibility is there. I'm not discounting it, and maybe that does account for some of it, but it doesn't account for 100% of it. All UFO means is an unidentified flying object. It's just something that you can't identify. Really, it's what it boils
the
down to.
Mothman is a UFO because you've got no point of reference. You've got nothing that looks like that, so that technically would be a UFO.
Yeah, the Sasquatch is a UGO, an unidentified ground object. I mean, right?
We could take this further. We could
yeah.
take this a long way, dude. I'm liking this.
Yeah. So, I've been looking at UFOs from this angle for a little bit now, and it makes a lot more sense to me that, maybe we are just seeing more, that these UFOs are actually paranormal phenomenon. These things are blipping into existence from another realm and then disappearing again, and we're only seeing them for a short period of time before they phase back out from wherever they came from, whatever plane of existence they're on, interdimensional, whatever. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all that there's a lot of UFO sightings in this forest. Not at all.
Forests, and I think we're going to save the last creepy forest until the last segment. And folks, don't forget, because we're just like warming up for the paranormal portal that starts after Freaky Friday on tfrlive.com. Don't go anywhere. And for anyone over on YouTube, please head straight over to tfrlive.com right after this, and you'll be able to continue an even deeper woo. It doesn't stop you. Fridays are amazing, folks. TGIFF, thank goodness it's Freaky Friday. Now, Joe, let's go to one of the stories you brought up, and it was about a cult. Yes? You still got that one kicking about, Joe?
Pulling try.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you it, dude.
Hold on, no, it's here. It's somewhere. Strange story, no. Cops.
Daily Star,
no.
Daily Star, Red Dot.
Thank you.
I'll keep you right, dude.
That's okay. It seems as though I'm pulling it up right now. There we go. Yeah. All right. So, cops raid, kill, hideout.
Yes.
Female Buddha in the mountains. Now, this is kind of crazy. Get a load of this. It says here, cops have raided dangerous exorcism cult led by female Buddha in a secret mountain hideout in Taiwan. Taiwan's Criminal Investigative Bureau says 19 followers were rescued from the cult leader's headquarters based in a monastery in the island's central landlocked county of Nantou in August.
That sounds like a place out of like a
followers.
What's that? Sounds like a place out of a J.K. Rowling book. Nantou.
Dude, totally. It says followers of the Zhonghua Rigxing Yishang, or China Daily Virtue, were
Oh, Joda, Joda. It's all glitching. I'll do it, Joda. Here we go.
Thank you.
Yes. Or the Daily China Virtue, and no, I'm not going to try and pronounce that Z word. It says, we're prohibited from leaving or speaking without permission. And one was reportedly killed in a sick ritual. Now, the death of the Taiwanese national, Miss Fang, 20, in mainland China sparked police investigations across Taiwan Strait, leading to the raid. And here we have a collection of the stuff they must have been using as the cult. It says they had exorcism tools, including wooden and plastic sticks, metal pipes wrapped in cloth, and mallets were seized at the cult's monastery in Nantou. So it goes on to say cops have revealed followers were not allowed mobile phones, or to bathe, or speak without permission, and were brutally beaten to exorcise them after speaking out of turn and attempting to run away. 5 people, including fanatic cult leader Lin Hsiang Yu, 61, detained at the remote mountain monastery, which had been sealed shut by a large red metal gate and surrounded by chain-linked fences, the Bureau under the National Police Agency announced on September 25th. Now, investigators with the CID's 5th Investigative Unit seized cult propaganda, various rods, plastic and wooden sticks, as well as metal pipes wrapped in cloth to beat the followers in exorcisms or soul-purifying ceremonies. The unit's lead investigator, Lei Yingmen, I bet you that offends some people out there, said that the beatings were carried out by authorized by the ringleader herself, who was referred to as the Holy Mother or Living Buddha. Nothing like loving yourself much, right? The raid on the compound came during months-long investigation into the group, established by Lin back in 2008 as a fusion of Eastern and Western religious teachings. So it's kind of a hybrid kind of belief system here.
Hey, it's kind of all-inclusive.
Exactly, cater for everyone, right?
If you don't identify, come to our cult.
Yeah, authorities became involved in March after a family member of the 20-year-old follower of Miss Fang from Taiwan's western city of Taichung reported that she had been beaten to death during a visit to mainland China with the matriarch. Now,
so how does one get beaten to death but still live to tell the tale?
She maybe came through in a seance.
Perhaps.
I think she was beaten severely and then died later on in mainland China.
Oh, I see. Okay.
See, we need Scott here.
Thank you, Scotty. Thank you for that.
Yeah, he points out the logic me and Joe just don't have. So it says Lin allegedly ordered Miss Fang to be flogged during a purification ceremony in Nanning, capital of China's southern Jiangxi region.
Nothing says cleansing like a good flogging.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, dang, that's how you do it, right? So it said then she fled back to Taiwan to avoid arrest. According to reports, the religious cult's alleged purpose is to inspire good virtues and promote physical and spiritual health, yeah, as long as it doesn't include bathing. But those who joined found themselves unable to leave, often suffering violent and brutal beatings when they attempted to escape.
Man, judging by that person's buttocks and the ear, oh, man.
Don't join cults, kids.
What is it that makes cults so appealing to people, though? That's what always gets me.
Well, but because it depends on what we classify groups as cults, but we may not necessarily, or they may not necessarily view themselves as a cult. You know, Wookiees could be viewed by society as cult, the cult of the Wookiee. You know, we are a strange breed, and we kind of, we discuss very fringe topics that might offend certain people or be troubling to people. And they might label us that. Oh, look at them. Look what they're talking about. Look what they're doing. They're talking about exorcisms and killer Buddha queens and things like that, right? So people might think, wow, that's a cult, the cult of Kev. So
no cults here. Don't be saying things like that.
no, you know what I'm saying, though. It could very well be construed that way. And that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it is. We don't look at it that way.
Well, and the question is, what is the threshold of being?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Because you could consider quite a few religious organizations as a cult, couldn't you? But they're not technically
most of the
considered
organized ones,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah. Or even if you look at politics in a way, or certain movements within that, right?
Yeah, but what does a cult mean? It means like hidden knowledge or hidden behavior. Politics is nothing but hidden shinola behind closed doors, dude. Absolutely right, Scott.
Yeah, so I mean, these secret societies, these kind of small groups of individuals that kind of get together. I mean, would you consider Bohemian Grove to be a cult?
I would say it's a location. I don't know if it's a cult per se, but I know that those group of people make up. I'm saying that they probably partake in more than one ritual during that year, and Bohemian Grove is like one stop on the Satan Cult Express or whatever the heck it is. You know what I mean? The Moloch.
I guess if you were to look at the general definition of a cult, it would be like what, somebody brainwashing their followers, right? And then once they're in,
is that the true definition of a cult, or is that societal's definition of a cult? The society says, well, it's got to be like a David Koresh, man.
I mean, but see, like when I think of a cult, like like cult follower,
like Manson,
or something like that. But when I think of just the general idea of a cult, I think of somebody that is spouting out a lot of things, to make people feel, oh, I want to join, I want to be part of this. They put out this thing that, come join us. This is a good thing, and there's a lot of PR and just everything to draw people in. Then once the people join, they're brainwashed into whatever this whatever their philosophy or whatever they're trying to teach, right? And it's usually kind of a narcissistic, ego-driven thing to where they want everybody to look up to them as being the Messiah or whatever within this cult. And then people are unable to leave when they try to.
But not only that, but doesn't it showcase how many people have that lust or obsession for power over others? It's amazing how many people actually feel that way, and how many people execute on their plans, and how many people fail at doing so, because within these structures are unbelievable cutthroat behaviors and it is as dark can be. They're all psychopaths, they're all narcissists, and they're all gunning for the top. And they'll do anything to get there. And I mean, damn, dude, it is like it's King of the Hill on steroids.
So now in this technological world that we live in, this modern, world of the internet, we need to start paying attention to, I'm going to call them e-cults, internet cults. These people that grow a following, like say on social media or YouTube or something, right? And you have all of these people that follow them, and
these channels with 92,000 subs and things like that, bloody cult leaders. A
Oh
lot
my
of them.
God, we're all cults.
Oh yeah, and before we
I
go
love
to the
it,
break,
cult of Kev.
before-
Kev, when are you gonna wear your assless chaps and
good-
your Johnny King, your official Johnny King chicken feet?
I actually do have a cult leader outfit. I've got a velvet smoking jacket. I've also got a cravat. And maybe,
cravat, you
yeah,
say?
yes, a cravat that goes with a smoking jacket. So how about next Friday?
And do you have a Merlin hat to go with it?
Well, by next Friday, how about I do?
Or bunny slippers? Bunny slippers, they say, are the key to opening a portal.
Before we go to the break, folks, I tell you what, we've had them all here on the streams today. We had Charlie Robinson earlier on, and now we have got
Very nice.
the Paranormal Portal in the chat room here.
Very nice.
So remember, folks, stay tuned right after this, and if you're on YouTube, you had best have TFR Live loaded up, tfrlive.com, because this is just a taste of some of the woo that we have to offer over on the network. And we've got one segment to go, guys. We've got the creepiest forest still to go, and Scott's choking to get something out before the break. Go for it,
Very
man.
good.
Well, no, I'll wait. I'll wait till the break.
Okay, very
I'll
good.
wait
Yes.
He's going to
Good
wait,
things
and we're
come-
on that break
wait
right now. So, folks, get a cup of tea, get a cup of coffee. We've got one segment to go, and you won't be disappointed. We'll be right
Good
back.
idea.
Yeah, sure we go. Now, listen, folks, we had a lot of technical issues there. I didn't want to go into it on air, but behind the scenes, my studio glitched out, Scott. Some people were having issues. We lost about, 60 listeners or something. And
Out.
yeah, we're having and I'm in a city where there's like 380 megabit down and 30 up. I shouldn't have a problem with connections. And I didn't. It was more the YouTube picking up the signal. I don't know. Joe's had glitches. And we're not the type of people. We ain't, Scott, are we? We're not the type of people who sit and go, oh, it's the NSA listening into us, or they're interfering, or it's the Vatican. Maybe it's the Swiss Guard. Maybe they took offence at Joe's pantaloons joke. Maybe they're unraveling their Swiss Army knives right now, looking for that specific attachment to screw up the YouTube. You know, the Swiss Army knife, it might have it, Scotty.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes,
You know,
indeed.
going back to this cult thing and the e-cults that I was saying people need to watch out for.
Cute.
I think a perfectly good, so I was about to say, I think a perfectly good example is a certain letter of the alphabet. And
comes
the
after
followers of
you,
that.
it comes after you take a pee, and right before you go R.
Yes, and I think if you were to have a checklist of cultish behavior, they tick a lot of the checks. So I think just like with everything else, I think cults are going to evolve as well, and you're going to see like more of an online presence of cults as opposed to just a bunch of people getting together somewhere, whatever. Decentralized cults.
And somebody says, the intelligence agencies, they're not scared of Freaky Friday. Yeah, we get that. There's absolutely not a show. I've never done a show in the world that the intelligence services have been interested in. A lot of people like to hype all that stuff up. Oh, we're getting interfered with. Talk about being full of yourselves. I'm not talking to anyone in the audience. I'm talking about shows that you hear that on. Really, come on, folks. Skype's crap. You do it on Skype, you get Skype problems. You get loose cables. You get internet problems. None of these people, consider that before they jump to the full woo conclusion of, it must be somebody at the NSA listening to us. I would love to think that the Freaky Friday or the Kev Baker show or anything I do is that important, Scott. And it's not that I'm putting the show down, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think I'm a big spanner or you're a big spanner in the works, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could have milked that whole issue with my internet earlier today, and been like, you see, they're cutting me off. They're cutting me off, Kev. They've been listening in. The NSA knows. No, it was just I needed to refresh my DNS, so I had to reset my router. That's all it was.
Simple
people.
as that. We're going back to the mothership, Scott. We're going back to the mothership, man. I'll get ready with my really fake Wookiee. We need to get... I was going to get the werewolf, but I forgot. No, it's not YouTube messing about with us either, folks. It really, we've got like 200 viewers. Do you know what that is in YouTube terms? It's like not even 0.0000001% of how many people are on the platform right now. There's nobody sitting there going, we must scupper the stream. They're talking about the stairs in the woods. Oh no, they're on to us, Scotty. Here we go. We're coming back, folks. We're coming back. Here we go. Yes, it's a bit of a disturbed Wookiee tonight. We don't know if it's the same Wookiee that started the show, but he sounds broken, Scott.
It sounds like the Wookiee has... It sounds like the Wookiee after a heavy night of partying. You know, after he's thrown down a few too many.
And we've got the paranormal portal in the chat room here, everyone. I've been telling y'all, stay tuned on tfrlive.com right after this break, because I was having a laugh during the break saying, I really don't think anything I do online is of that much importance where intelligence agencies get involved. Maybe when we talked about that place called Hamp, and then you add the other word Stead. Maybe when we talked about that was the closest I got to intelligence services. Dude. Yeah, but one show that I could believe is haunted and does have Ooga Boogas interfering with it is probably Paranormal Portal, because they get into real deep woo on there. So we're just warming you up for when that comes along. And oh my word,
compared to that,
we've got my favourite Australian in the chat room as well. And this name, it ties in with Freaky Friday, Mammoth Hunter.
Very good.
We've spoke of mammoths on the show before. And I would imagine the number one spooky forest that we're going to go to now, if we're going to find a mammoth anywhere tonight, apart from down under, it might be in this forest. So we have to thank Mrs. Scotty Lopez's mum for producing this or providing us with this 5 top freaky forests. And that's so synchronistic, and it's so relevant for Freaky Friday, because over the years, time and time again, we go back to the forests. We go back to the entities. We go back to the energies. And now here we are. The number one. It's been building up to it all night, Scott. I can't wait to see this. Joe's sitting on the edge of his chair. We're all about to explode with anticipation. Take it away, Frightening Forest.
Number 1, Interstate 85.
Oh.
For many, the trees lining one of America's busiest interstates is just like anywhere else. But what they don't know is that Interstate 85 in Atlanta, Georgia, is a hidden dumping ground for bodies.
Of course,
the entire
it is.
200-mile stretch of the interstate, starting at the Georgia corridor down to the tip of South Carolina, has become a dumping place for murdered and missing people.
This is a phenomenon in the US, Joe, that, like along the highways, the interstates and things like that, dumping grounds. You can get into those serial bad guys. You can get into like the mafia you were talking about before, dude.
Oh, yeah, the Pine Barrens, yeah.
Yeah, and I was even talking with Anne and my mum earlier on today about the outback in Australia. I mean, if you were...
It's a vast wilderness.
If you were like a dodgy dude and you were going hunting, you know what I'm talking about here. I mean...
You could disappear and no one would ever know and never find you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For decades, the highway and the woods along it have become the final resting place for at least 30 victims, and there's no discrimination. Men, women, and children have all been discarded on this lonely stretch, left there to be found or to rot in obscurity. Some of the lucky ones have been identified, but the majority remain as Jane and John Does. Some of the bodies were found naked, others with clothes on. Some were fresh, but most were badly decomposed. Still others are nothing more than bones only discovered when back-county hikers, gold panhandlers, and developers venture into the area to do their business. Much of the area surrounding the highway is rural. There is thick vegetation and hill crests allowing criminals to cover their tracks and keep their crimes away from prying eyes. One case is that of Leslie Adams. Found in muddy, swampy waters, her bones were discovered by a woman investigating beaver dams. She spotted a shoe that she thought was hers. She picked it up and found what seemed to be a foot bone inside. She did a bit more investigating and soon found clothing, arms, and legs, a breast implant, and more bones. This was later identified to be that of Leslie Adams. Adams was reported missing in October of 2005. She was a mother, a Navy veteran, one-time bodybuilder, and a beautician. Prior to her going missing, she filed a restraining order against her ex-boyfriend Billy Cook and told her sister that if anything ever happened to her, it would be his doing. Leslie disappeared soon after. Although Cook was arrested for a separate incident and for violating the restraining order against Leslie, he was never charged for murder, and her case is still unsolved. It's also the same in the case of 18-year-old Elaine Nix. Elaine had a routine. Whenever her boyfriend paged her, she would take her car and drive to a local convenience store off Chandler Road in Gainesville and use the payphone there to call him back. She always
Look at that payphone. Where did they disappear?
Who has
to?
a payphone?
Dang, dude.
What is
did
that?
this. That day, however, she went to the payphone but was never seen again. When her parents looked for her, they found her car in the parking lot of the convenience store. They soon filed a missing persons report. Elaine's partially decomposed nude body was found 1 week later in the woods off the highway on September 29, 1999. So why do so many criminals choose Interstate 85? Investigators believe it's merely convenience. The highway lies just 20
Yeah, it's just a dumping ground, right?
Yeah, but
miles
not
from
only
a
that, think about it. Quick in, quick out.
Yeah. And Joe, I watch too many cop shows and like cold cases and things like that, right? I get it. But there's this thing, and you guys will know better than me. I'm watching TV shows, it could be either bunkum. But you go from one county to the next and then eventually state to state. Is there a problem with sharing information? What I mean is you could have somebody dumped in one county and then two counties along the same road, another one dumped. And because they're not talking to each other, they're not seeing the pattern. Is that right?
Yeah, very much
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that happens a lot. If something happens in
We're
one
not
jurisdiction,
exactly on an island or anything, so it's kind of hard.
You see,
They-
I
they
wouldn't
don't
put this
have
down
that
as a
kind of-
frightening forest. I'm quite disappointed with number one, to be honest with you. I feel kind of let down here.
Why's that?
Because the most frightening things are actually outside the forest, dumping things in it.
Dumping things in it. That's absolutely right. And then by basically by proxy, they're going ahead and creating this mess and making it even worse by putting all these people that have been
It's a vicious
just
circle. It's
amping
feeding
it up,
itself,
man, and
dude.
making that place even more powerful.
Dang. Well, we've got about a minute or so. Maybe not even a minute. We'll wrap it. It's only half a minute.
downtown city. Within 20 miles, you can easily slip into a country road where a vehicle can disappear in the dense woods. Parts of the highway are slowly being developed, and police believe there could be more bodies hiding in these woods. It's only a matter of time before they are found. So there were 5
Yeah, there was the 5 frightening forests, and man.
Yeah, man, that was a good that
Yeah.
was a good video.
Would
Hey,
you-
really quick before we go, can you do the Shadow Dude update?
Yeah, but Scott was going to say something there.
Go ahead, Scott.
Would you camp in the woods outside that highway though?
Yeah, I would. It wouldn't bother me. That doesn't bother me as much as the other ones we heard about there.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You're going to smell those things before they give you the creeps, right? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
So you don't think that there's any ghosts associated with
Like
any
I
of those
say,
bodies?
Scott, I'm more scared of the
Kev should go. We'll put panoramic GoPro on his helmet, and then he can go in there and camp for the night.
Oh, seriously, I mean, ex-squaddy, I don't mind sleeping in woods, but that one wouldn't scare me. Like I say, the scarier things are going up and down the highways. The ones that are creating the problem, Definitely. Would I go hitchhiking on that road?
Well, absolutely,
No.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't go hitchhiking on that road.
Go on.
No.
Go on, dude.
No, I wouldn't do it. Couldn't do it. But no, let's take some Scottish haunted locations, shall we? I've got a
Oh,
story.
you have some Scottish haunted locations.
Yes, and then you've got the 10 most mysterious ancient sites, Joe. If
I don't know if we'll have time for that.
I think we
We
will.
may
We've
have
still
to
got-
save that for tomorrow.
Dude, we've got 17 minutes left yet.
Oh, that we have to do a shadow guy update.
Okay. Right, where's the shadow guy stuff? Because
You,
if this is
you don't-
video...
you have to go to the shadow dude.
Well,
It's,
listen, you see,
hold on.
this is going to be more wrapped for tomorrow because we're on TFR live right now, and the whole imagery thing, that works better.
So we'll do that tomorrow. So we'll
Yeah.
have to do a shadow dude update tomorrow.
Shadow Dude comes tomorrow.
Okay.
And for anyone who can't remember or doesn't know what we're talking about, the Shadow Dude,
You gotta tune in tomorrow night because that shadow dude is
oh yeah,
Unbelievable.
big time. Now let me see if I can find the Scottish places that are haunted. Where were they, folks? Was this it?
judging by how many tabs you
There
have
we go.
open, I would say wow, that was pretty good, Kev.
Yeah, Scottish ghost stories, witches, murder, and folklore. So it says here, reinvigorate your tour. It's about crap. Culzean Castle, perched high on the Ayrshire cliffs, is this Robert Adam masterpiece.
You guys definitely have the castles, dude. You have the castles licked.
Yeah. And it's shrouded in tales of terrible deeds and evil spirits. Now, learn about the 4th Earl of Cassilius, who in 1570 captured the abbot of Crossraguel Abbey and roasted him alive until he agreed to sign over his lands. Listen to the tales of Sir Archibald, the wicked Culzean, a man so evil that the devil himself attended his funeral. I'm sure that story hasn't been embellished over the years, Scott, right? And also hear stories of a ghostly knight dressed in armour who appears to household staff, and of the phantom piper who plays on stormy nights as the waves pound the cliff face below.
Because that's what they used to do, right? They used to go out and pipe on the rock cliffs, to warn the ships off. when they
Yeah,
couldn't
remember
see-
the island of gnomes that you found last week, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was us piping to keep
That was you
ships.
guys piping out there?
Don't tell anyone or I'll have to.
Oh,
Yeah.
you limey.
Don't.
Sailors!
If you tell
Stay
anyone,
away from the rocks,
dude.
yo.
If you
It's
tell
Lucky Charm.
anyone, I'm gonna have to take you for a short drive up I-85. And I'm sorry, but only one of us is coming back.
No. I don't go that. I don't go that way.
Only one
I'm
of
not
us is
going
coming back. But it says here, Brodick Castle. Again with the castles, right? Now I'm getting feedback. No, it's away now. Beneath the towering peak of Goat Fell, discover 800 years of ghosts and paranormal activity. You can listen to the accounts of the Grey Lady. That's White Lady again. And the
No,
White
no,
Stag.
that's Gray Lady. That's a different shade, dude.
50 Shades of Lady.
but yeah, but you got a white stag, so it makes it better.
Only in Scotland do you get the White Stag. To
Yeah,
tales of
that's right.
murder and the supernatural. Walk in the footsteps of clairvoyants and paranormal investigators and stand on the very spot that castle pets refuse to cross. Visit the hanging tree in the portcullis where plague victims were entombed. There's been an entombed theme to tonight's show.
Yeah, very much so. Especially being entombed or interned in walls. What is
Yeah.
up with that?
And it makes me think of the catacombs and things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But think about it. A lot of these people were put in there alive.
I would say most, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, I just can't even imagine. Well, that is not a way I would wish to go.
Well, you can go to Dom Castle in France, where the Knights Templar were imprisoned. And there's literally like scratchings, like people scratching on the wall, but it wasn't their fingers doing it. They think that they actually used teeth to scratch. That was just
Are
people.
you kidding?
No, you can check that out, dude. You can check that out, Dom Castle. There's like, it's DOMME, and there's like symbols of the Tree of Life. Information they obviously brought back from the Middle East, from Jerusalem, things like that. The kind of Kabbalah magic that ended up seeing them getting burnt at the stake, right? And yeah, there's scratches in there as if... And that's the story. Listen, Scott, that's the story, dude. I don't know. Maybe one of them sneaked a chisel in. They were masons after all. It's always the masons, right? Says here, Pollock House. So it says, listen to the blood-curdling tale of the bewitched baronet and the witches of Pollock. Now, Pollock's an area in Glasgow, by the way, folks, just so you know. In the 1670s, Jeanette Douglas, a mute serving girl, arrived at the Pollock estate of Sir George Maxwell, who shortly thereafter fell mysteriously ill. Janet regained the power of speech and immediately accused 5 local people of consorting with the devil, no less. The story of their trial and subsequent burning at the stake has intrigued historians over the centuries, as is the story of Janet herself. She was reputed to have travelled to America and was involved in the infamous Salem witch trials. Dang! Something else that came up on the show tonight. So number 4.
Nice. Yeah, see that? I'm telling you, man, it's
Isn't
this
it
crazy how that's happening much more often.
It's the golden ratio of the stream, dude.
Absolutely.
It's the energy flowing, you know.
Circular, it's round, circular.
Greenbank Garden, let's say, with several resident ghosts. This wonderful garden oasis is both idyllic and mystical. Look out for the lady in red. Now, what is it about ladies in red? That's another thing you hear about as well.
So the ladies in red, I think, are the ones that are the evil ones.
Are they the impish ones?
That haven't been done wrong, but did the wrong. You know what I mean?
What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, that's a whole thing in itself, and like what the lady in red represents. And I actually think Ryan Gable is really well knowledged in the whole lady in red stuff. I don't know how it really applies to paranormal. I haven't really looked into it, but I know that there's like a whole thing with like the lady in red.
Yeah.
So that's a whole thing in itself, and probably do a whole show on.
And an absolutely fantastic Krista Berg song, "Lady in Red." I thought it was a good song anyway. And it says here, Greenback Garden with several resident ghosts. We got that. Look out for the lead or the lady in red, a phantom large dog. Dogs again, Scott. And the spectre of a young girl skipping beside the burn, believed to be the ghost of a local girl tragically killed in the courtyard of the 20th century. And it says afterwards, settle your nerves in our cafe with a spirit-raising scone and a cup of tea. How very, very Scottish. So it says here, the Hill House. It's a Charles Reedy Mackintosh place.
A scone or a cone?
No, it is a scone, if you will. You have it with a cup of tea.
I like that, Joe. Joe sounded like Prince Charles, you reptilian creep.
Because I am Prince Philip, actually. You got to get the slur, too.
Yeah, you've got to sound
Prince
like you've
Philip.
had like a bottle of port for breakfast.
Time for
Dude,
some sherry.
That port blows your head off. Every item of clothing that we put on the day of our pass out parade at the end of like drill school or like training and that, you'd put on your socks and your boxer shorts and you'd have a glass of port to the Queen, right? You'd go back, you'd put on your braces and your trousers to the
Queen. You got
Queen.
a new member.
By the time you went out to do the passing out parade, you were ready for passing out, dude. I'm telling you, you felt like Superman.
You got a new member, bro.
I know it's coming. It's coming. Here it comes.
Got a new member, bro. There it is. The dude.
The dude. I like that. The dude.
Very nice.
That's cool. So I'm going to rattle through these. We've got somewhere called Gladstone's Land. Very interesting sculpture there. Culross. Alloa Tower. Again, the castle.
Kind of funky design there, you know, just this big, narrow, towerish type of thing.
Good for throwing hot oil over the English when they come and try to take our wives, Joe. Falkland
Weird,
Palace.
and it's like, what do they think? Wow, now that's nice. Look at that.
Rob Roy. Besieged by Rob Roy and partially destroyed by Cromwell's troops, the palace has a turbulent history soaked in murder and despair. You know you're hearing chairs in there, right? You know they're all creaking about. And
Oh yeah.
Dude. It says in 1402, the Duke of Rothesay, heir to the Scottish throne, yes, at one point, the good old days, was imprisoned in Falkland Castle where he reputedly starved to death. In 1542, James V's body lay in state in the Chapel Royal for almost a month before being taken to Holyrood Abbey and buried. Now, over the years, the palace has had visits from the ghosts of Mary, Queen of Scots, the White Lady, who roams the tapestry gallery awaiting her lost lover. I know, Scott. I'm waiting for a dog now.
Yeah.
We've got the Grey Lady, who walks the ruins of the East Range and disappears through a wall where once there was a door. Most chilling of all are the sinister faces that appear in the window of the Queen's room. Somebody in the chat room says, thank you, Pierrot. Pepe. Crowley said that flat roofs help with deep demons. Kelly Castle. Once home to the daughter of the Robert the Bruce. The Bruce, my friend. Those were the days, Scott. Those were the days, you know.
We're talking about nostalgia. You're getting very nostalgic.
It's pulling on my heartstrings. I can hear bagpipes in the background. I can hear William Wallace, the most famous Scotsman or Australian Scotsman in the world, old Mel Gibson, you know. So, funny, eh? Mel Gibson turned out a bit like a Scotsman in the end. Alcoholic and paranoid. One's home to the daughter of Robert the Bruce. Kelly Castle is brimming in battlements. Oh, I'm sorry, I've lost it. That was just too funny. I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes, right? With spooky stories. Dating from 1360, the oldest tower is said to be haunted by the evil spirit, or just the spirit, I don't know where I found it was evil, of Anne Erskine. That's like a Freudian demonic slip. It was evil. Who died? Oh my. Did you hear that?
What was it?
Look at the hairs on my arms, dude.
What happened?
What happened?
You honestly didn't hear that?
Hear what?
It was like, whoo.
What?
At 2:52 in the morning where I live in Glasgow, the only thing that goes, whoo, is something you need to be running from. Trust me.
Yeah, it's probably some cracky running down the street.
Okay, what are you trying to say about where I live, Joe? You trying to say it's like for the crackheads? What's that all about?
Well, I mean, you are in the only big city in Scotland.
I'll be dealing with him later. But yeah, so we've got 5 minutes left. I'm absolutely... I've given myself a big pant moustache after that noise.
Hey, so tell us more about this. Woo!
It just sounded like a howl.
In your headphones?
No, loud enough to be heard. Through the mic, I thought.
Did Ann hear it?
Did Ann hear it?
She's on the couch. She's kind of half dozing off, so...
Damn it.
That's bizarre.
I think Crowley's trying to get a hold of you.
Somebody says Kev's tripping. Kev will be tripping if he hears that again tonight, I'm telling you.
Yeah, tripping, man.
Somebody says the stream went silent. That's weird.
Might have to go back and listen to and see if we can pick up the audio, you know. I didn't hear anything. But.
No, and it was clear. It was clear over this shoulder. I don't know. And it can't be any, because Kevin's still up playing the console. If it was anything like out in the street, he'd be coming through. Come on, we'll go and see the fight or something. No,
I think you're just getting messed with.
Yes, it's the spook division.
I love it.
Those pesky spooks. And listen, folk, and logos, I haven't lost it. Listen, logos, here's the thing, right? You can't tell me what I didn't hear. And I told you it didn't come across on the microphone. So, okay, you can say I've lost it and people haven't heard. There was something there. I've never, added in, fake effects before. I'm not the kind of guy that brings on, super secret Navy intel or make up ghost stories for effect, you know?
It ain't so. Is it super secret, extra spiritual Crowley?
I don't know.
I bet you it is. Man.
I don't know about Crowley, but it's creepy Crowleys.
It is. It was Crowley's chickens. The ghost of Crowley's chickens.
You know what it is, Kev? It's the spirit of Anne Erskine, because you assumed that her spirit was evil. Remember,
right.
You said it was an evil spirit, and then you were
evil,
like, "Why
did she's coming to get you?"
You're like, why did I say evil spirit? And then all of a sudden she's like,
Exactly.
woo.
I mean, usually I can't read at the
You're
best
gonna
of
wake up
times,
tomorrow morning. You're gonna wake up tomorrow morning with a bowl cut.
Very, very, very funny, Joe. Very
That's right.
funny.
You're gonna wake up tomorrow with a bowl cut.
Very
Courtesy
funny.
Ann Erskine.
Yeah, tell you, if any ghost seen me with that haircut, I don't know who my money would be on most scared. Ghost might be out of there. What the heck? I ain't haunting this maniac. Look at the hairdo on him. So yeah, I've had a blast here tonight, guys.
Dude, what a great 3 hours. Come and gone, lickety split.
You see what happens when we go back to our basics, the woo.
It just becomes such a pleasure, you know?
And then you filter it through the universal, the golden ratio that is the stream here. The energy floweth.
And
boys.
by the end of the night, one of us is getting haunted.
It looks like it, but that was weird because even Scott, you heard me reading that. I can't read at the best of times, and from nowhere, I just constructed the word evil and threw it in there.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I'm like, where did that come from?
Well,
And I was like,
if that's anything to go by, then you want to stay tuned for Paranormal Portal. It kicks off in about 3 minutes from now. You've got that time if you're on YouTube to go to tfrlive.com, the home of Freaky Friday, the Kev Baker Show, Joe Joseph's The Freedom Link, Ella Free, A Good Place, Brett Thomas, Paranormal Portal. Right now, head on over there. So wherever you are, make it TFR.
And then it touched it at the dial, eh?
Joe, why? I tell you what, that bloody freaked me out.
Wasn't it? Man, I'll tell you, I could tell right away you were like, boo!
yeah, you definitely look.
You had that look on your face like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Wow.
Weird. Who knows? Weird, though. Weird. And we'll be back tomorrow, guys, right? And we'll,
Check out. Hey, real quick. Pull up that, since you're sharing that screen, pull up that creepy fairy insect video and just fast forward to 120 and watch it. And
Okay.
tell me if you guys think it's fake.
Okay. Oh, we gotta get our skeptical heads on. Right, fast forward to where, Joe?
1 minute, 20 seconds.
Okay, we'll go, yeah.
Right when they're walking into the woods. Right there. Just go ahead. That's fine. They're walking towards an apple tree, basically. Go ahead.
This is an apple tree. And it
Oh wow,
big apples. Very big apples.
are they still on it?
Now watch
There's
close.
a
They all
few,
fallen.
there's some there, and most of them are on the floor and have got
Oh,
massive
yeah.
holes in them. What's that? Yeah.
Oh look.
What's what?
Where?
Yeah, look. Right up there. Insect or something.
Is that an insect? Let's have a look. What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, it's that big dragonfly, right?
I don't know. Oh my god.
Oh,
Hold on. Wait.
I know. Okay, so go do that again. Look at that.
I think I'm calling shenanigans early,
You're
but
calling shenanigans?
but we'll see it again. I'm not feeling it, Joe.
That's tough. It's really tough.
Right, hang on. We'll go back and I'll slow it down, right?
Come on, you guys can tell better than me. So that's why I'm at let's put the skeptic hat on.
Half speed.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Nah.
No, I'm not. Nah. Nah.
Oh my god.
oh.
I don't know.
That movement too After Effect, too much After Effect.
Think too much After Effects?
I think
Yeah,
so.
little bit of After Effect action going on there.
Unfortunately, we set the bar high though, Joe. Me and Scott are not the easiest ones to. We're not the easiest ones to convince when it comes to this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no doubt. Ange said if some of the stuff that happened to her was caught on camera, you'd probably
dude.
say the same thing.
Yeah.
About 5 miles from my mum, roughly, Fairy Glen. I ain't ruling out fairies, dude. No danger, am I? No danger. But I ain't thinking this is one of them.
Mm-mm. No,
Yeah,
I kind of didn't either when I saw it, but I wanted to like, I don't know. I want to believe it, but the movement is too
Vroom, vroom, vroom. The head doesn't
exactly.
move.
Very artificial. Very artificial.
Like
And everyone knows fairies, when people get within 50 feet of them, they go invisible. I know that. You should know that. You can't catch these things on camera,
hold on
Scott.
one second. I gotta switch.
Oh, get ready, folks. We're about to hear another divine feminine. Not my mother this time, not Scott's divine feminine mother, but the brain, the divine Angela.
Hold on, I'm gonna try and switch. I can't.
I wonder if we're still going out. We had real problems with the live stream on my end. I couldn't see it, but it was saying we were, and I don't know. Now remember, folks, while Joe's looking for this and trying to get Ange queued up here, we will be back tomorrow on the live stream, the Weekend Woo stream. We will be taking a look at the Mothman. Not the Mothman, the Shadow Man. Shadow Dude. Yes, we hear you now, Joe.
Okay, good.
So here we go.
So what do you think? You think it's real or not real?
Me?
Yeah, you're on here.
It's hard to say. I mean, it's hard to say. Oh, like I said, if some of the things that I've seen and some of the things that have happened to me were caught on film, I think everybody would call bullshit.
No,
I mean, I was woken up in the middle of the night being pounded on by things that weren't there, so who knows?
Yeah.
no. You see, that's the thing, right? These things do happen. They do happen, and unfortunately, I think most of the good stuff. Well, for instance, why would anyone be filming random time in the middle of the night to catch something like that anyway? So I understand how things like that sometimes don't get caught on camera. In fact, I question it more when something does get caught on camera. Because what's the chances that you just happen to be filming something when something genuine happens?
That's why, like I said, even though we're like dead set against like any sort of surveillance, Kev, it doesn't matter. We're like really considering putting cameras in the most private areas of the house because of all of the crap that's going on. We want to be able to try and catch it on camera. And see if we can see what the heck is going on and better understand it, you know?
You can get pretty cheap
on film, like my time slip.
Right.
You can get pretty cheap kind of infrared CCTV cameras now. Those home security systems are coming down and the technology's going up. And they've got perfect night mode for the kind of thing you're talking about, dude.
Yeah.
And again, just get a cable. Just get a cabled one. Don't get the Wi-Fi one if you're worried about security and things. If it's all cabled into a mux, into like some kind of base unit where you have the multi-screen,
or something.
it's going to be hard. I mean, the privacy angle thing. I mean, it's just you and the family, right? You wouldn't be showing it, so I would do it, dude.
Been talked about, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, looks like it's time to wrap it up.
It is, and before I go, Kristen, our good friend in the chat room, has dropped a link for the Paranormal Portal. I'm actually going to head over there. In fact, I'll click it right now. Wait a minute. We'll bring it up here so people can see. I'll show you the channel. Here we go. One of our fellow TFR people out there. Sweet. Paranormal Portal, Brent Thomas, live now. There it is.
Microphone. But I do those sometimes. I try to mute as much as I can. However, I'm just pretending to be professional. I'm not actually professional. So
there he is, folks. There he is.
Me.
You can join that live right now. Brett, he's got the whole streaming thing down. Look at that. That's looking cool.
Well, yeah, Brent has really done such a good job.
Yeah. So I want to see all of you, if you've got time, head on over to Brent Thomas.
And their stories. To me, that's truly one of my absolute favorite parts of the show. Call-ins are my favorite, as well as people emailing in their experiences. That is just nothing more powerful than first-hand encounters.
First-hand ghost stories, folks. Head on over there. You'll be able to... Kristen says, can't listen to him at night. Too scary. Yeah, the Paranormal Portal ain't for the faint-hearted, folks. But we're going to be back tomorrow on the Weekend Woo stream. I've had a blast. You guys had a blast?
No.
I think that the psycho What do you call that? Is it an Oedipus complex when like you have mummy issues and things like that? I think it is, isn't it? We should have called this the Oedipus edition. I think it is. It goes back to Greek times, I think, Joe.
We'll go with that, Kev. Yeah.
It sounds cool, right? Definitely.
Yeah.
So we'll be back tomorrow. Shadow Dude.
Shadow Dude tomorrow night. This Shadow Dude update.
The Shadow Dude update. So until then, let me find some really, really good music to take us out of here. No, it's going to be okay, Joe. It's going to be okay. I promise it'll be. Oh, before I go, though, I haven't showed you this, Joe. I haven't showed you this. You're going to love this, my friend. We've all seen Pineapple Kev.
Yes, we have. That's a very nice
We like Pineapple Kev, but now we go for the deeply disturbing on so many levels. Bunny Rabbit Kev. Oh, look at him go.
Boy, oh boy. Somebody is really into...
Somebody's figured out how to make GIFs, dude.
Self-deprecation, yes.
Yeah. Hey, come on. Is that what you call it, Joe? Look at that face. Look at it, man. Isn't that like the cutest bunny in the world? Come on.
Yeah, it's like a hobo bunny.
Oh, come on. Marty.
You look like a freaking hobo.
You think? I think I look really cute. Suit. You're kidding me on, right?
No, you look like a hobo in a bunny suit, folks. Does he look like a hobo in a bunny suit? Yes.
I was thinking,
you look.
On you go, Scott.
I told him he looks like a furry. You know those furries?
Listen, for $5, me love you long time, but for about $50, me do absolutely anything for you.
Suit. Yeah, nice. That's real nice.
Look at that little cheeky face there. Isn't that the kind of bunny everyone wants?
Oh, jeez, Louise.
Come on, Joe.
You crazy.
Come on, dude. Look
at him. Crazy. Oh, no, here it comes. Oh, no. Not the music. Nice. Very nice. Goodbye.
I love that rabbit. Yes, folks, I'm like a rabbit. Make of that what you will. Where did we get this sad music from? What happened there?